welcome to us talking about the Dragon Ball Z collectible card game.
Androids are go.
That's right.
Go.
My name is Dustin Morabito. Lorraine Morabito is here.
I'm here.
Phil McGrath is here.
I love Pringles.
Kyle McGrath is here.
I hate your Pringles.
There's a couple other people floating around in the room. The other McGrath.
The long
McGrath
forgotten.
That's right. Gabe's hanging out in his own kitchen.
Bye, Gabe.
Bye.
And we're going to talk about Vengeance.
Oh. Movie Collection 2.
That's right. Movie Collection 2, the sequel.
A better name.
Mm-hmm.
They've broken convention already.
Revengeance.
Whoa.
That's right. We did this last time. We're going to do it again. We're going to talk about every single card in the set. Phil, are you ready? At the ready for? Phil's going to kind of slightly time.
Keep us on
track.
track.
Keep us sort of on track here.
We got a little off
the last one took a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and say when we get to Brawly, we might just skip him because we already talked about him last time.
I agree.
If you want to hear about that MP stack, go listen to the last thing we did.
That's right. Spent a lot of time
DBZ
on
podcast. There was a different, like a normal Keyboard Games podcast.
Mm-hmm. I'll pause on each one for a frame or two just so people can see them if for some reason you care about this game and somehow haven't seen the Brawly stack yet. But it seems unlikely, but possible. And then, without further ado, let's talk about every card in set 6.
Even the bad ones?
Even the bad ones. Starting with Black Android Programming, which seems like racial to me when I read it.
Completely agree.
Starting off strong.
Hey, they named them.
It's not our fault.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't even have Android 15 on it.
Yeah, it's just a computer. That's the Giro computer from the basement, right?
Yeah.
The personality that uses this card best is the whitest personality in the game, also in Android 13. He's able to blow it up out of your deck with his
right. I was saying that's the cool thing about it. I was really down on this card until I noticed it had Android in the title. I was like, it has a use.
You'll be picking it for free, basically.
Yeah, and it augments your black corruptions, but also your effects.
Perceptive masteries.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yep.
How would that?
Not
perceptive. Oh yeah, it's
mastery.
only banished.
Devious mastery. Though.
There you go.
I was gonna say how would that work with perceptive? Like which card would count? But
I don't know if it would make a ruling if it would the card that turns discards into banishes. It probably would.
Turtle power.
Yes, it would.
Banish an extra card.
Yeah. Worth noting, it also is an attached card for black, so it's. If you're running it already, you can throw Unleashed in there and have one more way to get it and a way to boost your leveling power with Unleashed.
Not Android, but Broly will get some mileage out of it too. You just attach that and now your power banishes too.
Sure, yeah. That's
party.
Legit.
Kind of neat. I'm okay with it. Next.
I did a bad job.
We're already
I'm on the wrong. There we go. Next. Black Astonishing Drill. Roshi's getting droided out.
So. I don't love this card.
I don't love this card, but I kind of like it. Not for the gain stages part, but just to be able to see the top of your opponent's deck for various effects that on cards that you wouldn't otherwise use.
Sure, yeah.
Like the one that if you mill the top card and it's a setup, you can play it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it is cool that it plays into those cards, and the one Endurance certainly helps a lot, but.
You're right, I'll never use
exactly.
it.
As Phil, I think, was basically saying, it synergizes with a bunch of cards that probably aren't going to see play anyway.
The stage gain portion of it feels like it was supposed to be the meat and potatoes of it, but in reality, I think you're not going to get a lot of mileage out of it. Even against a Saiyan Empower, they have to actually gain the stages for you to, reciprocate.
And you have to need the stages.
And you have to need the stages.
Mm-hmm. If Saiyan ever starts, running over the world... Then
sure,
you can
actually. Saiyan stage damage is a thing, and you can actually just keep pace with them with the drill by itself, basically.
Sure.
Which is an interesting thought. Yeah, it's okay. Next, Black Recollection Drill.
I like this card.
This card causes
a couple of these I have to reread. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah, that's right.
It's wacky.
It's a spiritual successor to Black Soup Drill or whatever from Shadow Dragon Saga.
Right, yeah.
Soup Drill?
So it's interesting. This is an activated effect. You don't have to do this if it would kill you or, whatever. But it's... You could power mimic it.
Power mimic it.
Blow everything up.
Do a bunch in one turn. Okay, right, get that life deck count. Just like, all right.
The game's over
I have
now.
less, and there's about.
You've got 12 cards left, and there's 4 Dragon Balls I control.
It's a cool option to have. If you're in a Dragon Ball deck, especially one that rejuves a lot, and you keep a reasonable, idea of where your Dragon Balls are, you can mill yourself down to drawing them, which is pretty cool.
Black Dragon Ball hasn't really been a thing, although
I think
There's been some Black Roshi decks lately doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And Black Cooler could pick up that mantle a little too.
Sure. I want to say that next. We're doing it.
Going overtime.
Stay on point. Black Downward Beam.
Pew, pew, pew.
It's got endurance. It's always
And
my
it
favorite thing to start with.
Maybe raises your anger.
If you have destroyed a thing, yeah.
It's a lot of words
in
for
Perceptive,
not
it'll
much.
give you anger pretty
It's
much
a lot
as
of words for a
secondary.
card that ultimately is energy for 4 life
Right.
cards.
I think it works a lot better in Perceptive than
Yeah,
it does in
Perceptive
DBZ.
Yeah.
Anger could
Sure.
maybe. It'll be an anger raising card that has 2 endurance.
And
Yeah.
and in
And
Perceptive,
then
you're
one
more
more
likely to
destruction.
get the mill out of it.
Yeah,
too.
you
Yeah.
can plink for an additional card.
Especially if you're like Wheelo or something.
Perceptive anger beats.
Yeah.
It seems okay. Like nothing inspiring, but
Yeah.
it's all right. Black Face Kick.
With this high res image.
Yeah, it looks great.
We got to shout out, I think, Sean McVicker again for
Yeah.
making the Dropbox for us here.
Yeah, I did
100%.
just
Yeah.
scum all these directly
Right.
from the Dropbox, so
Thanks-
I didn't
thank
do the
you
real
again.
due diligence of putting them all together. So
Did all the
yes.
hard work so that
Thank-
we could benefit.
Thank you for that.
So this card gives Black another weird critical effect that's tied to placing things on top of your deck, sort of like a Bizarro shoulder charge.
Yeah.
The banish effect from it being symmetrical is interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'd rather have something like what Blue got that just banished a bunch of stuff on hit from your opponent's discard pile.
Sure,
The-
and
the-
the forced symmetrical effects. Yeah, I think
The card effect itself, I'm not wild about. I do really like the parenthetical crit effect or
Yes.
any effect like that, where you can just sort of win a critical effect by playing a certain other interaction.
It's really neat.
I mean, it
This-
works well with that black shoulder charge from set 4
Yeah.
Or even like
Black evasion.
Pick a
heroic
card.
assistance.
Or heroic
from
assistance,
your
exactly.
discard and put on top.
Yeah, I'll take anything that offers Black a chance at a handful
Yeah.
of crits because
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I don't think there's a single card in this set that gave Black any native crits. Right? It's like if there
I
is
don't
anything,
think
it's
so.
cards like this.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the next card. My last thought here was that this card I feel like was aching for 1 anger or 1 endurance.
I agree.
Either one.
you could say that about a lot of cards.
Black Fist Catch. I feel like
It's
this
a
card is
weird
mediocre.
Bad decks.
I don't totally dislike it. Black's got a lot more ways to control your opponent's discard pile. You can really pick them apart and put them into a situation where there might not be much value in their discard pile, or force them into a situation where they either only have attacks or only have blocks, and your discard pile is less likely to be in a state of such disrepair.
It's even banish after use.
Well, the other thought there is
And
that
has no
if like something closer to a pure Black mill deck becomes a thing, you can just stock them up on things like a bunch of blocks that you don't care
Right,
about.
exactly.
So that's a neat idea.
Someday in the future.
Like if your deck is literally that specifically focused on a certain way to win, it's much easier to find garbage that you can put in your opponent's deck just to gain more cards for yourself.
Right, exactly.
That's
They'll
kinda-
do the same thing to you, though. Just give you back 3 cards you may not necessarily want.
Oh, sure, but at that point, we're kind of just talking about winning
Yeah.
the life deck race. Like, maybe you just need the cards more than they do. Beep. Next. Black Impact.
Gain stages in combat, I like that.
It's another.
Sort some cards.
It's got some weird, yeah. So there are a couple of black cards that reveal cards from either your or your opponent's or both life decks, and if you guess them correctly, you get benefits. So this obviously is meant to synergize with those. It's got a decent chunk of endurance too, which it desperately needed.
Does some okay plinky damage.
Yeah, and the hit effect can be useful in Perceptive or with certain other cards.
Yay.
Might even just be, I mean, obviously, maybe just good to know on a turn. So, again, nothing like world shattering, but it does a bunch of little things.
Yeah.
Yay.
Black Overload. We had this card.
Hooray.
This was one of our previews.
Yes, we did.
That weird whatever that thing is on it.
Oh, wizard.
That's like, yeah,
Oh,
that's
wizard.
Paragus's tentacle monster. Because we just watched.
I forgot.
I'm glad
so
you
much
knew that.
Paragus's tentacle monster scientist who created the thing that makes Broly not flip his shit all the time.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Anyway. Energy.
I like this
pay-
more than it seems like on the surface. Just if you play it in black, then devious, then you'll just basically pay 4 stages
This
for
is-
an unpreventable 5 life
Well,
attack.
this card is weird because this card is my wish for what Disc would do when
Sure.
people were
Yeah,
on like
yeah,
the
no,
highest
I
on their
agree.
bandwagon of getting all up in Destructo Disc's shit. I love the idea of making it just do an energy attack and then paying a few more stages to activate
be alright
the
with
card.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that aside, like this card's okay.
the hit effect on it's cool too.
Yeah, I mean, again,
It's
it's
good
nothing
branding.
earth-shattering, but every now and then the card will be worth less than the setup or drill you discard.
And once again, black being sort of limited in its critical effects is, I think, a good thing and a good design.
No, I agree. Yeah, like I don't think Black needs access to a ton of like raw crits.
Yeah.
It's just how the style works. Next, Black running guard.
I like it.
I'm higher on this card than I think most of the community is.
Black's block line is so thick.
It's really good.
So it's got to be good just to even warrant consideration.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate this card.
Yeah.
Like, it is playable, and if you were to build, that Black Mill deck, this is certainly a card
and
you
with
would
the
consider.
slew of non-styled amazing cards out there,
Yep.
you could
Krillin.
definitely throw this out there.
If Android 13's big, no matter what his build looks like, it's going to be throwing tons of non-styled attacks. So.
Yeah, this card's neat. It's not like amazing. It's definitely not terrible. Like
one
I
endurance.
could see this card seeing some play for
Yay.
sure. Like it is a very middle of the road, but totally okay card.
Wheelo.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Maybe Wheelo will come back.
Why not?
Black Sword Attack. I think this card's okay.
I
Like
like
in
it.
terms
I like
of
it a
adding
lot.
sword cards, like
Yeah.
this one is really solid. It's got endurance. It gives anger. It does like a medium amount of damage.
Yep.
Like enough to be threatening, basically.
Yeah.
And then
Especially with Devious.
And then the other thing it does is a secondary, which like you're probably not going to use that often, but I mean it is a useful effect.
If you're running Black Trunks, you probably got the cards for it.
Sure.
Right.
And if you're not running Black Trunks, this card's not really going to be on your radar.
It's still pretty good though.
Or
Just
Black
as an
Sword.
endurance bomb attack that auto raises anger. Like,
Yeah, I mean this
that's
card
a
would be
rare and powerful thing.
okay gravy just to splash sword
it's-
drill into a deck to tutor for.
Sure.
Sure.
Like you can pitch it for the mastery if you don't need it, and otherwise
Make your
it's an
cooler
okay attack.
supernovas
Right.
unpreventable while you're at it.
Yeah. Yeah, that card is okay. I like it. Black Vaulted Strike. Oh, so much
Pretty.
text. God. This card's destroyed.
Oh,
Stack
yeah.
a thing. Name 2 cards. Oh, right.
Rejuvenate infinite amount. So this is obviously pretty hard to set up, but if you're going for it, I think that's something you pretty much have to build around with this and Black Flying Knee as
I mean, as
go
you
big
say
or go home
before,
cards.
That's a big swing if you hit
there were
it.
those multiple cards we've seen already
Yeah, that
that
stack
were just
things or
like
reveal things.
stack and reveal. So
Well, unlike other cards in the set, which I have a few in mind that we'll get to, this one is very situational, but I feel like the thing you get is actually kind of worth it. Like Rejuvenate 6 is
a
real,
huge number.
Yeah, Rejuvenate 6 is real good. There are certain other cards that we'll see later on in the set that are also situational, but like the thing you get is kind of garbage.
It's a little unfortunate that if the parenthetical happens, whether you want it to or not, so if it's taken as a discard or destroy, then they just get a card back, even if you don't want to give them something right now.
But if you're building for it,
Sure.
with effects like this.
Force them to take a bad card.
Well, yeah. A bad card's always still a card.
Next. Coolers.
yeah,
Blue Cooler's face setup.
I'm a machine.
Engine behind powerful combos.
People don't have to be Android 18 to put all their
Yeah.
allies back into their
The-
deck anymore.
Blue wash or whatever that puts
Yeah,
all
blue
setups
wash,
back
yeah.
into your hand. You just top it with this. I guess this would lose this drill too. You'd have to put it into play after that.
What a weird card. And Spanish after use. Huh. I don't know how I feel about it. It's okay, I guess.
If
It is
you're
so
in-
specific to...
Yeah.
The parenthetical working with Roshi level 1 is cute. Or like Raditz offensive card or something.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I wonder if Raditz will see a little more play. I
hope
think he
so.
might, but...
He's worth more than the next to nothing he's gotten so far.
Yeah, I agree. He's not garbage. He's not as garbage as people seem to indicate he is by the amount of play he receives, but... that card's interesting.
I like it.
I bet there will be clever use case. Like, I bet people will run it occasionally.
Yeah.
It'll look really, really clever in the matches that it appears in.
Yeah.
Blue reinforcements. Oh, that's right. I remember this card. Another lightning bolt. So
I like it.
Activate it when needed.
It pairs well with a card that I'm going to have lots of words about later. But being able to basically shift an ally into another ally is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
and then
neat.
the setup.
And
I'm not in love with that first part, but just the last line, setups cannot be used this turn, is
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, the fact
When
that
entering
there's,
combat.
Yeah,
the
right.
fact that they're separated is awesome because it gives this card more versatility than it would have otherwise. Because first you can just run it without allies.
That's what I was going to
'cause,
say.
like,
You can run that without any
it's
allies at
worth,
all.
It's worth using in certain scenarios, obviously, just for that part.
but this into Clash. Banish an ally, make it like that added damage.
I don't think it works.
It's got to be during an opponent's phase.
Clashes if your opponent banished your
Was
ally.
the opponent? I thought it was I thought it said if an
I
ally
think
was banished.
it's got to be
during-
banished during their phase. I don't know if
Yeah,
it can
I'm
be
pretty sure
your
that card
effect
is
or not.
very
Rats.
specifically worded to like
I was excited for
during
a
your
second. I was
opponent's
like,
last
It's okay.
action or
"Oh."
something.
I like where you were going, Lorraine.
It would have been
You're
fun.
digging though. You're on the lookout for cool combos.
It's also
So you
silly.
could also like
Fucking
use this
infinite
with
cool.
briefs
Look at all
when
them
entering
killers.
combat to banish briefs and then replace them
Right.
with some other
You've done your
useful ally.
duty, get out.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah,
like
he
Tommy
did.
or
You did the
something.
thing
Yeah.
I needed.
Flip people.
Yeah, or
Trunks maybe.
Yeah.
Someone
Not
else
yet.
did it. Blue save.
it's a weird card.
Shift
Works
an
well with
ally
that
for
Vegeta.
right.
Oh yeah, hero.
Yeah, the hero
Goku and his
Vegeta ally is
friends.
the most obvious use for it.
Mhm.
But,
Cooler ally. If you have a way to get him out of your hand again, doesn't he just interplay from?
yeah, and there's
being
actually
discarded?
there's a lot more ways or a lot more allies now than there used to be that have effects that trigger when they enter play. So
Yeah, like
turning
the
an ally to your
androids when
hand
you get to
and then
them.
playing them again is pretty cool.
Woo.
Yeah, most specifically the androids, but
It's got a lot of endurance. It's okay. There are a lot of even more cards in the set that trade like that interact with styled setups in blue, which is kind of cool.
yeah, I like
Like they're really padding out.
becoming an archetype.
Yeah,
I hope,
exactly.
I
That
hope the
are-
next mastery has something to do with it.
I would be okay with that. That seems all right.
Blue Destruction Mastery.
Yes,
Sure.
+4.
Yeah, right. Keep the +4.
Blue seizing drill. Roshi's all.
Weird
"Ah."
card.
He's real bummed out. Endurance on non-styled cards cannot be used.
Suck it,
That's
Broly's
interesting.
card.
It's a weird awakening drill.
Once per combat, you get to Awakening Drill if you hit with an attack.
And all those optic
You
blasts
don't
are
have to
screwed for
banish a
endurance.
styled setup to unlike Awakening.
That's
Drill.
true.
You can banish like a visiting to grab blue training or whatever.
That's kind of neat.
And then the endurance part on it's interesting too. It's like a more active, different kind of blue training.
I like
or,
it just to
awakening.
give Blue another awakening drill. I mean, that's
Sure.
a deck that will really get a lot out of having two of it in play.
Mhm.
And this one's got a little bit of a
Oh,
catch
yeah.
to it.
You can trigger it off of like a key buildup.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't expect this card to see like wide play, but I would definitely see it
Got
as
it.
a one of in some very specific, like very focused builds.
But I
Like-
think those are good cards to have too.
Yeah, no, yeah, I
Lots
agree.
of
It doesn't have
niche-
every card in the set. In fact, most cards don't need to be
Right,
like,
from a design
oh, this is just a
standpoint,
new
this,
thing that
this is the
everybody should
direction
run
you
a
want to
lot of
go.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like stuff like this. Like, I think that's a good direction to go in general.
Mhm. This is
Wait,
my
no.
favorite.
Oh yeah, this card's great.
Hmm.
So obviously this is built even more for tag than anything else because every time, basically at the end of combat, you're going to be milling 2, and then every probably once a turn or so you'll be also rejuvening 1. So this
I
this
really like
is
the
value
picture on
town
this one,
basically,
too.
and also the
Trunks
picture
is
is on
out
point.
of place.
Trunks knows he's out of place. That's maybe
He's
the best
looking
part of
for
the
an
picture.
escape.
He's like,
How do I leave?
but yeah, this you could build a whole deck.
You
actually
could
around this card.
easily.
Yeah, no, it's really neat, and it
And it has endurance.
right, yeah, it has endurance, and it shows another thing that they kind of seem to pepper throughout the set, which is rejuvenation for the styles that never had it before.
Right.
Right.
So like basically, if you weren't Saiyan Namekian pretty much prior to
Sorry.
set 6, yeah, it's like get
Sa-
fucked
Saiyan
when it
had
comes
bits
to
and
putting
pieces.
cards back. Yeah, I'm into it. This card's really neat.
Yep.
I like it a lot.
It's ugly.
Eh.
Boom. So another styled android card.
One of the better ones, I think.
Yeah, it gives you anger as a secondary or does other anger things. So like a blue,
It does a decent chunk of damage.
blue ally 13 is going to love this card, and then the hit effect is useful too. So.
Yeah, it's similar to
Getting rid of
Nappa's
guys with hidden
something,
power
something
drill.
charge, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Get rid of it, blow up an ally. So long.
Yeah, that card's okay.
Blue needed just more cards like that that could raise your opponent's anger for an effect. Because I was looking at them recently, it's like there were 1 or 2, but not enough to really make a consistent stream of.
Right.
There are quite a few in this set, though.
Yeah.
I want to say there's like 3 or 4, maybe not including this card, but
So it's less of a fluky, gimmicky thing when it happens and more something you made happen.
sure. Yeah, it's an okay bread and butter attack with a unique hit effect.
Yep. And it synergizes with 13.
Brush aside.
Blue brush aside.
Almost looks like he's going to stroke Goku's face.
I really liked this card up until the last sentence.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Tag only.
I mean, and it's
Even
weird.
specific builds of tag.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of weird that it, like, in my mind, it wouldn't be a bridge too far to just have that physical
Right.
block play an ally if you have no allies.
That seems fine.
Yeah.
So the banish seems a little punitive to me. Like, I'm not really sure, like, if someone just put it on there for flavor, if they were like, no, we need to lock this down.
Can't give Blue Ally that many tricks.
That's right.
Couldn't you like utilize this with like Vegeta ally? Like
Yes,
scoop-
you could put him back
play
out.
him and scoop him
That's a
back
good point.
up,
If
and then-
you get rid of him out of play for some other reason, then
Yeah.
it won't trigger.
Mhm.
Right.
which is funny.
If he gets discarded first,
Right.
That's where he needs to be.
Bye.
So I think this is too specific to see a whole lot of use.
Mm-hmm.
And blue's block line is also pretty good.
Right, you
Yeah.
got
This card doesn't have
wrist
endurance.
block and blue crouch.
Crouch, the big
yeah,
ones.
and then everything
Right.
that's come out since then. So
Next, blue flying kick. This card's neat.
I like this card.
No
It's a
cap.
It's a nice meaty physical, and it has endurance. I'm way into
can
it.
get really mean.
That's right.
My plus 30 physical drill.
Yeah, watch out, orange 20.
But then it has a hit effect that's useful in a bunch of other matchups too.
Yeah.
So it does two different things and is just a good value card.
And it'll protect you too from their effects.
Mm-hmm.
It's really neat. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Oh,
Again,
you're an Unleashed deck? Get screwed.
Yep.
this is just like a ever so slightly more amped up bread and butter card. Like
Yeah.
it does a lot of neat stuff, and also it's just a really meaty attack.
And Goku's
And
getting
endurance.
owned.
And Goku's and it's the picture's pretty good.
Yeah,
Shredded
like-
knee.
Going back to like an old blue Vegeta, blue Nappa deck or whatever, if you have the 2 drills in play, you're looking at a physical at +8 or whatever with
Oh
with
yeah.
Nappa.
no shit.
or
now we can
Turles.
talk about weird Turles,
Right.
Turles ally decks.
Hey,
Anyway,
that can get big.
we'll talk about that later, or not.
Anyway.
Right. Next, blue rehabilitation.
Oh.
The set's
it's
got a lot
weird.
of random events,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate that this card doesn't give you both ever. Like
But-
that kind of bums me out.
But if you have the same number, it does nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The biggest part about it that sucks.
Mhm.
Because especially that'll mean turn 1. it
Yeah,
never
turn
does
1, it's gonna
anything.
suck.
It'll shuffle itself into your deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is technically better than nothing.
If you're Roshi,
I was gonna say-
maybe. So I could see this seeing some play in Roshi decks that get a lot of use out of anything that shuffles into your own deck, and are gonna run some drills too. But,
Drills.
Not loving it.
but yeah,
Ba-da-ba-ba.
overall. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm not loving it.
Blue SWAT.
This card's cool. I like it.
Yeah, this
Again,
is.
again, tag only probably.
You could run it in an ally heavy prot deck.
Well, you have to have exactly one ally. Yeah.
Is that actually true?
Yeah,
If you control one
Yeah,
ally.
Okay.
No,
Well,
that's
in
how that
case,
works.
Yeah,
Consult the
probably
wiki.
technically.
See, it's confusing.
I don't even know. Who knows?
It
Nobody.
is confusing.
It is a
Everybody
little.
cry.
But yeah,
It's okay.
I looked
Again,
into it.
it's competing for slots with cards that are
Yeah.
awesome all the time.
Sure.
So like, it's not. I
Narrow
wouldn't call it
escape.
useless, but it's
But
it's
Not that
kind of
good.
sandwiched in by other cards that are already really awesome.
The
The
narrow
actual
escape's
bread
real
and
good.
butter cards.
Yeah, it sure
sandwiches.
is.
Narrow escape. Round throw.
Indeed.
Get thrown.
Oh, this is that Namekian card that attaches to Dragon Balls that we couldn't remember when we were outside.
yeah, I like this one.
Namekian Impending Doom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, that's all right. It does a neat thing.
Allows your Dragon Balls to become a pretty useful other thing that you can just hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
Also gives you something to do with your Dragon Balls if Oolong is in play.
Also, probably by far the most difficult banish effect
Yeah.
in the
agreed.
game.
And
Unless
again,
it's like a ball mirror match or something like that.
Right.
Although the funniest part of this
Right.
card,
If you do that to a Dragon Ball that's already in play, you will banish the card itself.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is that like if your opponent steals that Dragon Ball, they just get that power,
Yeah.
right.
which is hilarious.
That's even better.
Maybe my favorite stupid thing about this card. I'm okay with it. It's
Yeah,
it's
I
very
like it.
unique.
And it's another attached card that's gonna find its way into random Unleashed.
Unleashed.
Woohoo.
Neat. Next.
A real card.
Yeah, like again, like.
really weird card.
But this card's okay. Like
Oh no, I like
this
it.
pads out like the drill line that Namekian is ever so slowly building.
Screw your chokes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chokes for 3.
Chokes and discs. Like no, thank you.
Oh,
And like
so
every MP
mental.
power,
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except the one.
except the one. I mean, it's all those stages anyway.
Taking Yamcha's base damage down to 0,
No.
which is even weirder because then it begs to be blocked for the physical stop.
It's got endurance too.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I
I really
really
like
like
it.
this card, especially in Restored. That's going to be running like cross guards.
Cross guards, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's got endurance.
Assistance
Cross guard
drill.
is awesome, and
Having this card behind, like in a Gohan Restored, behind like a Piccolo and a Chi-Chi ally, just gives you such a strong defensive setup.
and it is a defensive drill, which Namekian didn't have before. Like you had aggressive stuff with Heritage Drill, and you had like a bunch of like weird
That
techie
one
options that
drill,
were kind of bad, but like
mostly, yeah.
like this gives you another different kind of drill to have, which is really neat.
Yeah.
I like it. Like an airborne attack.
Roar.
I feel like Namekian's got so many decent to good physical options that kind of just outshine this one.
Yeah, there are even other ones in this set that are way better than this card, so I'm going to say...
And Namekian's not hurting for anger options already either. Anti-anger, I should say.
Next. Namekian Arm Shield.
This card's weird. If you're getting the crap beaten out
I
of you,
would say
I don't think I'd read this one.
if you get red Turles to turn 1 and you happen to draw this.
It's not the best physical block to have even for that exact situation.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's true too.
As a Namekian dex, the one that gives you 5 stages and rejuves is pretty much objectively better, especially in Piccolo.
Isn't that endurance? Or am I just
No,
that card
that one
does
does
not
not
have
have endurance.
endurance.
The one that gives you
Neither
anger
does
has
this.
endurance.
Yeah.
So,
I wish it had been a bigger buff you get for
-3 or -4.
yeah, absolutely.
for a card that you have to specifically play a specific way.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything else, and it's a block, so you have to play it a specific way, like relative to actions your opponent is performing. You can't. It's not like you can throw it out on your own attack phase.
Like if you do a
set it
setup,
up yourself.
the card's dead.
This card's value is both hard to actually obtain and also not as great as it probably should be when you obtain it.
Next. I can concern. Oh, this card's funny.
Scouting.
I really like this card.
Yeah, I like it too. It's a card that I feel like people will have to demonstrate. Like someone will have to be just the slightest bit bold and start running them and showing it being awesome.
Imagine this in like a restored Piccolo, though. You get to set up your next turn with restored, as well as setting up your 2 power that's active that turn. Like that's so much, and it has 4 endurance.
That's
This
great.
is a card that doesn't look like maybe it has a ton of value, but I think it secretly does.
Yeah, it's definitely like when you take restored mastery into account, it is definitely a tier above that Saiyan card that lets you do a similar thing.
Right.
The 4 endurance will be just enough to justify putting it in decks.
It's really neat. I like it. This is another example of a good it's a very specific card, but it does a really cool thing. I'm into it.
Not banish after use.
That's right. Speaking of physicals that are better than that other Namekian physical.
There's one.
This card's super good.
Yep.
So first of all, and obviously, you can just use the restored mastery to trigger the
it'll
crit effect
happen.
after you do it, and then the hit effect on it's also awesome.
Yeah.
So
Does solid damage.
holy crap, that card.
Yeah, it's so good.
Hopefully, people will start using or lean into Namekian physical a little more with cards like this, because it already had a good physical move pool.
Yeah,
There's a lot
it's going to be competing with zone pressure and the other one.
And non-nail Namekian decks needed another solid crit option, so this provides that, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Real good. Well,
I was in a debate on the internet today about this card.
It gains an anger and
I
knowledge.
would say I'm sure knowledge
Yeah.
players
There,
are
I said
in love
something
with
nice
this
about
That's
it.
exactly
shitty card.
That's exactly the whole argument was knowledge gets an anger out of it, which Energy Guard already does.
And it heals
it
another
would be
card.
it would be your second
not
block.
the same thing, but
You would have to be going more than 3 deep on your energy blocks, with not including hybrid defenses.
which
And
is
then
asking
also,
a whole lot.
Also, not using patient block or like crossed guards or something if you're restored, especially.
Or even the one that makes your crits easier.
Right, exactly.
This card looks like it came out of a starter deck in old Cell Saga. that's how I feel about it.
The one thing I'll add is that if your knowledge and your new Piccolo one, it gives you 2 anger, which is not true for Namekian Energy.
All right.
Sure. Right,
I'm
yeah.
not
You
sure
said something
that's
even
good.
nicer about it.
I'm not sure that's good enough that I would give it a slot, but in
Doesn't
that
do
specific
anything
deck,
else.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Namekian Robot Destruction is a good name for a card.
Yes, it is. Not Namekian Android Destruction. Not that it would matter, because 13. Yeah. Anyway.
That hit effect is real weird. The secondary is cool. Like you can have a situational, occasional death blow, which is neat.
Yeah. So it's like the Namekian version of Death Blow, and then the hit effect's fairly useful, I think. Being able to just
Yeah, it's
with
not.
as much
In
weird
knowledge.
stuff as Namekian decks.
In knowledge, it'll give 2 anger on hit.
I wish it
It
was
only gives
optional.
one
Like I
anger.
wish it
So you-
was. I
you
wish it
shuffle
let
a
you
Dragon Ball.
choose.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, never mind.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. It would be cool if it was Yume.
Yeah.
Or if it lets you choose the cards you rejuvenate. The fact that it
Yeah.
forces you to rejuvenate maybe 2 terrible
Right, I think-
cards.
Right.
That's it. You'll be playing it almost entirely as like a slot below Namekian right throw just for
Right.
2 anger.
I probably would use Death Blow over this in Namekian, which
Probably,
is sad because it's
yeah.
supposed to be the Death Blow replacement. But
And then
depends on what
it's
you're
not
doing.
dependent on Dragon Balls or anything at that point.
Next, I can team up. This card's okay.
It's okay.
that's about it.
Next.
It's an attack for Namekian ally decks, and I'm not sure I would use it in Namekian ally decks.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at that smug oolong.
Orange
So this
Bravado.
card's actually really cool. I like it. It does a lot of weird stuff.
And interacts with that There's some physical from set 2 that
it plays a style
Plays a
setup for
setup,
your
yeah.
discards.
Hooray.
It was physical +2. It might be villains only, and it's
If
a
you've got
successful playstyle setup.
A couple of those and Orange Celebration's out, you can chain up
Right.
a +12 combat or whatever.
This is like a Cell Saga era Who's Demand deck where you just.
I was
hit
thinking
out a bunch of-
Reezy, but sure.
Sure. Yeah, or Reezy with. Who cares? I don't know
Right.
what
Yeah.
I just did. But yeah, you can kind of
Blue
go off
launch.
on a huge combat, and if you're Adept Mastery,
Right,
banishing
you know-
all your drills is not a big deal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you're probably pretty aggressive.
I
already.
definitely like that this card exists.
Yeah.
Like, and the anti-prevention is like core to its existence. Like,
Yeah.
It's a really neat cherry on top.
Yeah. If you're Roshi or Raditz.
I want
or if
to.
you
I
have
want to see the
Guardian
deck
drill
that
in play,
makes
you
this
just-
card. That's it. I just want to see it.
Sure.
I think there's an orange drill that's like when it gets banished, you get
Goku
some cool
level
buff.
3. Next.
Yeah.
That's a cool card.
Yeah.
This is a less cool card.
This card, I don't know. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's
I'm not
cool.
sure what
but
I
it's,
would use
it's
it
an
in.
interesting design. But
Yeah, what I said about this when it was released, or the image was first leaked, was it would probably be better in like a set 4 or 5 meta than it will be when the set 6 meta happens. Because this is clearly intended for a slower control-y meta, but you would never want to use this in a meta that has any amount of aggro in it.
when side decks
punching
come into the
along.
game.
Right. Yeah, I love the idea behind this card and hate everything about the way it's executed.
Yeah.
Like the fact
Sure.
that it costs a phase and the fact that you
Yeah.
can't choose the event that you cancel, like that both of those things combined breaks my
And
heart.
you have to attach to a drill, and if the drill is discarded, you lose that too.
And it's a setup.
And it's set up.
So they could either target it by targeting
It's
the setup
double
or by
targetable.
targeting the drill.
Yeah, if it could
It
attach
has no
I
when,
endurance,
remember.
doesn't do anything else.
yeah, if it could attach when entering combat and let you choose when to destroy it, it
That
would be infinitely more
yeah.
playable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As is, it's kind of crap, I think. But cool idea.
Similar,
card is
similar
neat.
vein, and just orange getting weird effects that alter your game.
Yeah, but this card is
I
way
like this
easier
card
to
a lot.
capitalize
Yeah.
on, and the 2 endurance makes it just an easier
I
card
was thinking
to
of the
run,
other
period.
drill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This
No,
is
we'll
dumb.
get to that. I hate
Right.
that card too. I don't hate this one.
Alright. This one's okay.
No, this card's really good.
Yeah, I like it.
I
There's
don't.
There's a time late game in Orange where you want to just blow a bunch of stuff up in your opponent's discard
Yeah.
pile, and at that point, you probably don't have a lot left in your discard pile,
Or
or
in,
a lot
like-
left that you need to grab.
Yeah, or in like Adept, if that becomes a thing, like this deck works really well in there because that's probably a deck that's not going to rely too heavily on
Right,
your own
yeah,
discard
for
pile.
sure.
But like you're saying, mid to late game, you definitely want
I
to mess
need
up
to
your opponent's
banish.
discard pile.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like that can be used to kind of lock an advantage if you happen to be up. Like
and the constant on
mid-game
it's
or
pretty
so.
useful too. Early to mid game and control Orange, like it's not a bad idea to target this out so that if you do get hit with a cell 3 or something, you're not losing a bunch of stuff from your discard pile.
I see it as like a response to a hypothetical environment where people use more banish effects, and I still just don't see it. I see the couple that we've been seeing so far, but
Yeah,
for the most part, I don't think people are going to be in love with all the new cards that banish, except for the ultra rare.
Orange
This
Bug.
one.
Yeah,
This one.
this fucking card. Speaking of cards that like the idea behind them is so cool and the
Yeah.
execution is so poor. Like, I love the idea of a really neat card that forces you to declare combat every turn and gives you something that's even close to like approaching being worth
that
like
cost.
giving that away. Yeah, exactly. Like being forced to do that.
The
And
thing
this-
about this card that just kills me more than anything is that it's orange.
Sure, if it was even
Like the least flexible style of them all.
It's definitely built for Adept Mastery, not adaptive.
'Cause, I mean, if you're running an orange deck, you're running drills to some quantity, and that makes it even harder to declare every turn. I mean, you could build a weird hypothetical orange deck with 2 of these, and that's it.
I
But
think an adaptive build can get away, or adept build can get away with a small line of just like this and a joint restraint and 1 or 2 other things, and you're probably going to be able to enter combat most of the time. But is the payoff worth?
I just think if you make this literal same card, either a Saiyan or a red card, it's much more interesting.
Maybe, or even if you augmented this with some of the other card effects that they've put into the set, like if this card also had like similar to a cooler level 1 power, like, and your
Something
opponent
little.
can't use a
Yeah.
setup or drill powers in their first
Sure.
action or something, it just doesn't do enough.
I like it.
Orange Combined Burst. I feel like this is like a very vanilla card. It's got anger, lowers anger, does some damage.
Hit everybody mill 3.
If you're looking for a weird
Everybody may mill
up,
3.
up to 3.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of control over it.
Which is kind of neat. Like, it makes it more interesting than if it
that
were.
make you destroy cards off your opponent's life deck add on to this, even if you just did 1 and you had things.
You mean like if you were Wheelo?
Or some? I know there's other.
Wheelo might be the only card
Yeah,
that
that's the one
Orange
that
could
comes to mind.
use
Orange, I think it is.
to augment the number of cards that you mill from
But
them.
that would work.
Yeah.
You can mill 1 and then mill 2 or whatever.
Right.
Gotcha.
They'd mill
If you're playing an aggressive build, it's an energy attack that raises anger that deals up to 6 life cards.
Sure. It's
That's true.
it's like a weird Tien's Tri-Beam.
Yeah.
Although I feel like this is if you ran that whole deck, maybe you'd find room for this, but I feel like this is like a 2nd or 3rd tier orange anger energy attack. 'Cause
Yeah.
there are definitely some better ones out there, but
I wish it
not
had
unplayable.
hit skip your opponent's attack phase.
Sure.
That would own.
Endurance.
now you're talking. Or endurance. Next.
And
Orange Earthquake.
I think I read this one.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I have to look at it again.
Replaces itself and attaches.
Yeah.
The vanish effect on it is
Right,
so
it's so
impossible
easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess with orange, like you've got enough like those drills that like
If you have block drills out.
So
Yeah.
that might keep it on for a while, but
At least it draws a card.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have to do something like it would have to have an actually not just
Right.
replace itself. It would have to have an actually beneficial effect
Or have
upon
endurance.
attaching, or something.
I think the funniest thing about this card is if you're an Unleashed build and you use it, you get your levels before it's considered attached. Maybe. Actually, you know what? Maybe not. I take that
That's
back.
worth
I don't
looking
think
into
that
later,
actually
though.
works.
You're right.
It's a good question to pose.
Yeah,
so-
I think if we reread Unleashed, we would know, but I don't think it works
Well, we're
after
getting
thinking
there.
about it more.
So.
Yeah, as we make
Slowly.
our way. Yeah, slowly
Unleashed
but
is at
surely.
the end.
As we make
This
our
card
way-
Yeah!
The orange card of the set.
A
of the
plus.
century.
Right, of the last couple sets,
Yeah.
probably.
All right, we're waiting for this since Orange PowerPoint.
This card owns harder than I can put into words.
So good. And this is this is
Even-
just like every part of it is awesome in a very obvious way.
Even if
this
you
card
told
isn't
me-
subtle at all. It's just like, hey, guess what? It's just really good.
Even if you
I
just
like a few cards like that.
ignore a lot of the parts of the card, it's an energy for probably 5 life with 2 endurance that's unpreventable and costs 1.
Yep.
That's amazing. And it does 3 other
It's
things.
like saying rapid fire with endurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really need to say more than that. It's amazing.
10 out of 10.
The last thing I'll add about it is
12 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Orange has finally reached a point where an energy-heavy orange deck can actually level up naturally through anger.
Yeah.
Sort of consistently. So
It'll be even cooler in Orange Krillin builds that'll just kind of have anger sitting around so you can use
Sure.
that to pop levels.
yeah.
Really neat. I like it a lot. Orange Frenzied Assault. This card
Don't
is
like this card.
very dull.
I kind of like it.
I mean, it does more
Like
than nothing.
though.
I mean, it's clearly just adept only, but
Well, yeah. It's the damage value being so low is the thing.
but in a personality with some decent power level, you can go up a level, have no drills, and then use that for an attack at, let's say, 5 or 6 life in a stage, unstoppable.
Yeah. This is I do like, again, I like the
And it'll hit and trigger mastery.
I kind of like the thought behind this card, but
I like it.
it could have used a little more flavor.
Or endurance, which orange physical
Yeah.
as a
Yeah,
style
that-
has
Yeah.
none of.
Right. If you've ever made an orange adept physical deck, you know that deck has 0s for endurance.
Yeah, I feel like this card could have been okay if it just randomly had 2 endurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also would have liked, like, this is out of nowhere, but if you could pivot the damage, like if it's specified, like, AT
Well,
plus 1 life cards or AT plus
Sure.
2 stages, like
That would
make
be
it a
neat.
weird
Why don't you
version.
run
Next.
Vegeta?
Orange Interference.
Bad.
Yeah, this card is pretty mediocre.
Yeah. Orange already has enough.
Right, orange
physicals-
has good
physical
physicals,
blocks
so
for energy.
this isn't going to
Quick
crack
dodge
the
is
list.
almost certainly a better
And-
way
and
to get an
refocus,
energy
too.
attack that doesn't cost something.
Yeah.
Agreed. And then you're probably running refocus over this also.
And you
That's-
don't-
those are
right.
all your physical block slots.
Congratulations.
You did it, yay!
We haven't yet
Your deck
reached
has
the
been
point
built.
in the game where you need 3 different physical or energy blocks.
As a cherry on top, refocus has endurance and this doesn't.
Yeah.
And anger. If
And
you
then
need
Orange
that,
even
which
has
you
the-
very well may.
Orange even has a 3rd physical block that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this card's not great. Next.
This card's cool though.
This card's cool.
Cool image.
I love that this card exists.
Dumb,
Mhm.
cooler henchman.
This is the first energy block in the game that actually fits into orange energy beatdown or
Yeah.
orange drill decks.
Mm-hmm.
Energy catch was cool, but it wasn't really helping.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I still would have liked to see this card have some endurance, but it honestly probably doesn't need it. Like,
Yeah,
it
I
does
agree.
something really, really cool
Yeah.
despite that, so...
It's good. It's just good enough, I think.
I love that it lowers your opponent's anger 1, and I'm not kidding.
No, yeah,
Because
that's
otherwise it
great.
doesn't do anything.
Right,
on
it
hands.
seemed really weird to just see a
Yeah,
block
it
with
would.
no
Yeah,
text.
it needs to do something on
It's gotta
block.
be
So
something.
lowering one anger is something.
Something.
Technically
This is going to
something.
be a high anger environment, and orange
Sure.
blocks. None of the other orange blocks lower anger, and most of the orange attacks don't either. So.
Right. Yeah, that card's good. That card will definitely see play.
I like it, yeah.
I bet it'll be a solid 2 of in a lot of builds that
Yeah,
are
it's
Funny to look at, and I bet it's a neat foil.
Red Reconnaissance.
I kind of like this card.
Yeah, I'm okay with this card.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to banish a card from their discard pile when entering combat every turn,
Right.
and then also random other times depending on what you want to build your deck like.
Yeah,
And it's got that
then-
endurance.
Right,
power.
and Red's got
Ruthless.
decent draw control.
Yeah.
Do
The Hell Endurance definitely doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't even be talking about this if it weren't 3 endurance.
Right. And the fact that it slots into Ruthless so well, so you can just pitch it for that, like, it makes it
Right,
doubly
if
cool.
you draw it defensively, it's not a complete liability.
Yeah, it's a neat
And
card.
it's putting the endurance back in your deck
Yeah.
with Ruthless.
But it's not very interesting.
Yeah, it's a little vanilla-y.
Not that
but
it
it's
has to
definitely-
be.
Yeah, it's definitely not terrible.
Yeah.
That card could see some play. Red Android Palm Blast.
This card's good.
This card is
Oh,
really
that's
good.
right. But I feel like the attack itself, like, it's just the parenthetical.
It's
like,
Right.
mostly the
yeah, the
almost
attack
entirely.
itself is pretty meh.
That's actually kind of bad. I would never use this card as an attack. I would just
Almost
mastery back
It
to
is,
the
yeah,
deck.
this is 100% like a 1 of or 2 of in a 13 build
Yeah.
just to get the crits, and then
And if you
But
draw it, put it back into your deck with your master.
It'll
so
work
that you
real
can
well
fight
for
it
getting
later.
crits, and I really like it.
Yeah.
I mean, the card might as well have no text.
I think it's slightly better than that. There are situations you could draw it where you would want to play it because it's banish after use itself, so it can set up a decent ruthless attack.
So bad.
the cost of what 4 life cards.
Only 3.
Only 3. Okay. Yeah, even if it was just like, even if the hit was you may
Put them
here,
back into your deck,
like,
sure.
maybe- so
Yeah.
then you'd be
Or
more
if it
likely
was-
to throw it
or if
out
it was more than
for a
one
life
life
card,
card.
or to like stuff 1 anger and ruthless, whatever.
It's still really good
But it's
despite
still
that.
really good. Exactly. It's got such an amazing.
It does what it
spectacle.
needs to do.
Yeah.
And it's
Agreed.
Android names, so Android 13 can do funny things with it.
This is an interesting card.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's got the endurance it needs.
Yeah.
Red energy blocks needed more versatility, so I'm glad they got it a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good option.
So now you got like reds and red hop, and this as all energy blocks with 2 endurance.
Your next Optic Blast is going to be hella scary.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No kidding. That's a cool card.
Yep,
I like
simple but good.
Mm-hmm. Red Departing Shot. Oh, so I forgot. This is the card that replaces those. So this is just takes the slots if you ever use them of those 2 set 1 energies that can hit and give you 2 anger.
Sure.
Right,
It
'cause
technically does more than those 2.
This has another effect that may or may not
Yeah.
ever do anything.
But
Uh-huh.
the good one that makes your style attacks unpreventable and then on hit raise the anger too. I'd still prefer that. But
yeah, that's totally different. He was talking
Yeah,
about like
that's-
frenzy.
other
There's,
ones,
yeah, there's 2
yeah.
that do 4 life cards.
right,
and
that's all they do.
Either just raise your anger 2 on hit, or like situationally raise your anger 2 on hit.
Someday there's going to be some huge 30 drill deck, and the goal will be to discard them all at once and win.
If they level,
Observation, you die.
If they leveled after this had been played, would it count for each drill?
Yes,
Ow.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
It could
Pretty
do-
sure.
It could do stuff, but
JJ.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
Put it
Help
on the
us.
list.
Clarify, please. Next. I disregard. This card's okay,
I'm glad it has the parenthetical. It really needed it.
and it really, really needed the endurance.
And the endurance, yeah.
Because I think I was aching for Red to get another different physical block with endurance.
I like it.
Yeah, no, this card's okay.
There are also a handful of like set 4 and 5 cards that do stuff upon being banished from your discard.
There are, and there are
so-
more in this set too.
Yeah, there are a couple in this set
So
too.
you could banish all 10 of them and do
Do a bunch of
infinite
things.
weird
Right.
things.
And after getting some mileage with the Ruthless Mastery,
Yeah. I
being
think-
able to set up your next
Exactly.
combat is super useful.
And you set up your next
This
phase.
still ends up on top of your discard pile after you banish 10.
Damn
Right,
it!
That's the yes. That part is terrible.
Ah!
It reduces the card by
Right.
This
like
does not banish after
yes. It
you
reduces the
Why?
card by like a level and a half.
But
If you
if then enter on it, banish
Yes.
it,
Well, yeah, that's
raise
Yeah.
your anger
its
one.
use case
Yeah.
is if you end with it on top of your discard pile, you're ready for next turn. Like you
Very ready.
Yeah,
Very, yeah,
that
exactly.
kills it.
Yeah. And then again, you could banish a bunch of stuff from your discard pile to trigger things.
It would be way more interesting if it banished itself.
So
but
instead-
it is
Yeah.
definitely not useless.
I still think that might have been too good.
Yeah.
It only works
Yeah.
with Broly Ally then, basically.
Yeah,
I think that's
whoever the ally
Broly
is.
ally that
Banish.
makes your blocks defend.
Or
banish
or
after
the
use.
hero, the new hero energy attack that makes blocks banish after use.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. That it attaches or whatever.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Boom.
Combos.
Whatever.
That card's okay. I'm alright with it.
Eh.
Red
This card is
Ejection.
super cool and basically defines an archetype. Like
Yep.
this and Red Bribe and 7 Dragon Balls, fill it out with whatever you want.
Yeah, kind of.
You dumb Roshi players will play aggressively whether you want to or not.
Right, exactly.
God damn you.
Come on.
Too much value not to. Not only are you getting the potentially probably 3 to 5 mil out of it on average, but also it's going to do that much damage after it mills.
Yeah.
So plus AT if you're somebody other than Roshi.
Right. Yeah, that's a really neat, like, build a deck around this card.
Mhm. I love cards like that.
Yeah, I really like that this card exists.
It's a cool thing. I still would have liked 1 endurance or 1 anger.
Yeah,
Every time. It's my only complaint.
It feels like Red Mouth Cannon for Dragon Balls.
That's a neat
It
card.
kind of needs to be maybe a little bit bigger, but whatever.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Red High Kick.
This card's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
this
alright.
card's A-okay.
So as a secondary, it's grabbing a block from your deck. It's only a 4-card search, and with most block lines, that means it's going to miss like half the time.
Yeah.
But it's an endurance and a non-meaningless attack. So
Interestingly, it only takes a styled card, even though the best block in Ruthless is still enhanced reflexes.
Red Stop.
Red Stop,
objectively
yeah, no.
better.
Red Stop is
Red
definitely
Stop's
better
really
in
good.
Ruthless, but Enhanced
yeah.
Reflexes
Yeah, it's right there.
is also a great option.
Right. Yeah.
No, this card's okay. Like, it's kind of neat. It gives, like, a Ruthless build a tiny little weird point for chip damage, which is kind of neat. Like,
Right.
If you
and
just
and
super
in
need some
Ruthless,
clutch life cards, which you might.
in Ruthless, even if you don't need the block, you can take the block.
Yeah,
and switch it
exactly.
to
It's
Mastery.
just, yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to convert this into another attack.
Yep.
So that's
Maybe
fine by
even
me.
another Red High Kick.
Yeah.
Just
Dig,
keep
dig,
going.
dig.
because it's not banished after use.
Yeah, that card is okay. That card will also see some play.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to, like,
It'll at least move your deck along.
transform.
It
like
also
it.
has endurance.
And it has endurance.
Yeah, which is, yep. Yeah, that card's A-okay. Red lasers.
Laser.
This card costs a lot.
Yes.
But
Yep.
the thing it does is real neat.
Yeah, so it's got an endurance, which is nice, and the 5 life cards is a decent attack. Obviously the immediate effect on it is super meaty, but that cost, oh man.
Yeah, there are you have to be very selective about cards that
Right.
cost even 3 stages.
Yeah,
let
three
alone
is about where
4.
you start realizing how much you
You
paid,
better be generating a lot of stages if you're using this and
3
any
is
number
like,
of other
what have I
energies.
done?
or you're about to level.
Right, or if you're leveling
That's when
a lot,
you
yeah.
bribe.
Yeah, this card
all
slots
five.
perfectly into Red Yamcha Rain.
Yeah.
Get to those higher levels and just everything's real
Oh,
cheap.
1.
It only costs 3.
But you got to set it up with one of those cards that makes your next attack cost 0, which I'm pretty sure are all orange.
Higher Yamcha.
It's okay. It's really
Yeah,
expensive.
I still think
Costs
it's
like
cool, but
$3 less.
the immediate effect happening at the start of your next action is really cool.
5
your
life
opponent
cards.
Can't disrupt
Right,
it.
yeah, it is a
Yeah.
perfect setup.
5 life cards is always at the magic number, too.
Yeah, through damage and mill and whatever, you'll get the thing you want, which is
Yep.
really cool.
And if you ruthless, it's more.
You can search for another red lasers and perform it next turn.
Just keep going. Gravy train.
Make sure you end the combat with something else on
it's
top of
'cause-
it, and you do it again the next
Because
turn.
you're red Ginyu, and it's the most efficient way to get to 0.
There you go.
All right.
Red Training Burst. I'm pretty sure I didn't love this.
See,
card.
this is the one that it should be
Yeah,
designed
this card's
like.
cool. I like it.
It sets up your discard pile and doesn't disrupt your discard pile.
Banish
It
after
gets-
use.
it
and
gets out of your
potentially-
way.
It
Yeah.
knows what it's doing. You're
really
going
like
into
it.
a ruthless deck, sir.
I like the order. Like I like the way that they put. I like the rearrange being secondary
Yeah.
and the skip being hit. Like I
Right.
think that's the correct order of
If
operations.
it
for
had
this
been the
card.
other way around, it would not
I-
have been good.
I'd still think it's
Or
kind of a
as good.
filler card.
No, yeah, I mean I agree. I don't think it's gonna
It's a common.
find its
Yeah.
way into
Yeah,
a
we are
ton
still
of
in
builds,
commons.
but it's not useless. Like
We're almost
Pull it
out of
out
commons.
with Yamcha
Yeah, we're getting-
2. Who's in your
Sure.
discard. I know, close
Once.
we're on our way out of commons. Like
Get
We're almost
out.
this
there.
card.
Get out.
Nope. Red Wallop.
Wap.
Ignoring that the immediate effect is mostly not very good, it's a physical attack at +3 that can potentially banish 3 cards of choice from your opponent's discard pile.
Yeah.
There's a better card than that in set 3. It's like a physical +4 banish.
Finish the top.
Yeah, top 5, I think.
Or no, I think it's Spanish
banish
X. Yeah.
+2 or something.
Yeah,
Where
no,
X
you're
is
right.
your anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card.
And I think it
would've-
has endurance.
I would have been A-okay if this card just lost the secondary and had like 2 endurance itself. Like
Yeah.
that, like one anger for one stage is a bad conversion rate. Like, that's real shitty.
Anger is harder to come by than one stage.
Like, when you think about it in terms of, yeah, exactly, like, which is worth
I can
more.
lower
If this were a card you had in your deck, every now and then lowering two
Yeah,
stages to put them at 0
Right, there are
makes a big
situations-
swing.
Yeah, there are situations where you would definitely do that.
If
but,
I'm
like,
building the deck, I don't look at that and think,
exactly.
yeah,
if,
this is
if
what I
asked
want.
and avoid, like, which is more valuable, power stages
Right.
or anger? Like, it's okay. It could be better. Saiyan targeting.
This card's cool.
Saiyan.
This card
Brawley's
is cool.
pointy.
And also
Up
kind
until
of
the second
vague.
thing.
No, especially the second thing.
Yeah, that's very. I mean, if you play all Saiyan attached setups deck, you run what's it called? Training.
Strength training.
Let you
or
convert
trade
levels
glass.
into crits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, extreme training. Yeah.
Extreme training.
Not that they
Right.
can't dig you up or whatever anyway. But
Yeah. But
That'll at least let this card see the table for a while.
it's worth noting the judge perspective on this card right now is that constant powers does not apply to like drills. It applies to personality powers and ally powers.
We'll definitely need clarification on
Say that
that
again.
because that strongly affects this
Constant
card's
powers
playability
might not apply
to all
drills.
card types.
To all card types. Exactly.
Well, it says the effects of
Yeah.
drills with constant powers
Oh,
cannot
never
be
mind.
used.
Yeah.
Maybe I had it backwards.
Maybe some other card.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of some other card.
I can
Just
say
kidding.
it's like it's right there.
Here's another
I don't
unleashed fodder
remember
card,
what
though.
card I'm thinking of, but yeah. And yeah, you can unleash and then.
In a world where the third Saiyan Mastery won't naturally change your level,
Sure.
maybe this will see more play.
We're
We
getting
shall
there.
see. Saiyan assistance.
Endurance.
Saiyan Peace,
Sort of. Yeah.
sort of.
Hooray.
So, again, if you
can convert it
dig
into a
somebody
mediocre
up
physical
with
and
a
rampage.
same thrust active, this is just one more way to rejuve infinite cards.
Keep going.
Don't love it.
I kind of like it. It's got a ton of endurance and shuffles itself back into your deck and then does the other thing it does. So
If it rejuvenated after use, I think it'd be a little better.
it doesn't really fit
I mean,
into any
obviously,
sort of
but-
aggro
Sure.
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could convert it into anger,
Right.
or power, or whatever. But it's okay. I don't love it. I definitely don't hate it. Like it's all right. Next, Saiyan Clash.
Boo.
Clash.
Don't really like it.
I kind of like it.
I think Saiyan has so many other things that generate extra actions that are
Yeah.
better than this.
Sure.
And
Same
Yeah,
with-
I wouldn't even think this card would exist. Like, this isn't an aggressive card. This is probably a
Right.
like, rampaging speed
Right.
anger card.
And even then, I think
There's
it's
a
kind
lot
of a fringe
in
card.
that vein of cards that you can use for 2 anger.
Mhm.
One stage.
If Saiyan had more modifiers, I could see this being better. Or if it was AT plus
Broly.
1.
Yeah,
Right.
if it was just AT stages,
Or even
actually, I
AT.
would consider using it in a Broly deck. But
One
It's okay. It's definitely not useless, but yeah, it's not
It's good for rampaging. I think it does what it needs to do there.
Saiyan Club.
Cool card.
this card's so good.
Yeah, that's neat.
I mean, beyond even the obvious use for
Saiyan and Rage.
Saiyan and Rage.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm so excited.
Who even cares at that point? You
What
you
else
can do
does it
that.
need to do?
Yeah.
nothing.
Saiyan
Flight.
Flight, yeah.
Saiyan Freedom for Saiyan Flight.
There's probably another Saiyan setup.
There's one in this set.
It could grab Saiyan Peace.
Sure.
I still don't hate that card from set 1 that drains you stages
Yeah,
for a plus
the
3 life.
offensive
Offensive
rush.
Sure, yeah.
It's alright.
This card's got options.
Yeah.
That card is A-okay.
Pretend it said stop an energy, all of your attacks do +3 life for the remainder of combat.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what offensive rush is
Right.
doing, yeah.
Or any of those other things we just listed.
Sure.
Rage.
That card's got things you can do.
Pew, pew, pew.
Saiyan Ferocious Blast.
It's pretty good. I like it. That's for 3 endurance. That's a decent sized attack with an okay hit effect that also has a different thing if you're rampaging, or even if you're not rampaging, if your opponent's devious or something.
Yeah. Yeah, there are other
Yeah,
instances
I think that's
where
when
this
it'll
card
be
is card.
really powerful.
Yeah,
Side deck someday.
The head effect is A-okay. It'll still give you an anger on hit in either mastery. Yeah, the card's alright.
One of the few cards that you can actually justify pitching to the Rampaging Mastery pretty
Physical
easily.
for 4.
And
You
an
can get the
And an
anger.
Yeah.
That's where everything else
That's a
loses out.
solid conversion. Like, that's an okay situation to be in. The card's alright. Saiyan Severing Punch. Pretty sure this was also a fairly solid, like, just meaty attack.
Yeah, especially for the endurance it has.
It makes a Gohan happen.
So the hit effect is actually really good.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're,
He can't do anything to change either player's levels for the rest of combat.
until the end of your next turn, which is a long time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's no joke. That card is good.
And
Yeah,
it stops
I remember-
him from using Clash of Wills or Kaioken or whatever for the rest of combat.
And it's
also.
entirely possible we're going to be seeing a surprise or
A lot of Unleashed
heavy meta. So
and this shuts
that'll
it
be a
off.
big tech card.
Yeah, that card's really good. I remember liking it when I first saw it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I still like it.
Especially Endurance.
Yeah, I still like it quite a bit. Saiyan Sword Dodge. Remember liking this card less.
It's all right.
Sword
Basic
for
shift.
sword.
You can shift
a
a sword
non-sword
card.
card into a sword card.
Sword for sword.
You're saying
So
physical blocks aren't great.
If
so.
you're running like a moderate dead draw count, you can
Yeah.
get some mileage out of it, and it's still a sword card, which
Mm-hmm.
you need to fulfill other random conditions.
Discard
Yeah,
that one card. To
I don't
get
think this card is actually
freaking-
as bad as I was mad at it when I first saw it. Because I
Right.
had been complaining, like, probably a week or two before any set 6 cards were revealed that Saiyan needed some really soft physical blocks.
You can
And this
discard-
card isn't that.
No.
Like,
Right? Yeah, it still needs a meat and potatoes
Yeah.
physical.
You can discard that other card and get an anger, I think. I don't remember if it works on your effects.
Yeah, it
Right.
does. Yeah.
But yeah, this
There
card,
you go.
this
Combo.
card in a
Yeah.
vacuum is okay. It's just not the card that I wanted to see when I was thinking,
No, it'll be-
hey, let's
it'll
get some
be
new Saiyan physical blocks.
A very specific deck that, for the most part, nobody's tried.
Yep.
Yay.
Yeah, that card's okay. Saiyan Tantrum.
This card owns.
Yeah, I'll say this is
There
the
we go.
Yeah, this is the
This has got a lot
this is the
going.
meaty energy tech that also has a really neat parenthetical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the parenthetical is interesting.
It's
a
got
lot
2
of
endurance.
and that hit effect. Not only is that turn it into like a huge value attack if you hit with it, but that gives you a lot of anger.
Right.
If you're
If
Saiyan
you're
Power.
Saiyan Power, that's
So-
like a level.
Yep.
If you have 1 anger, you just go straight to 5. Or, yeah, straight
I'm
to
a
5 anger.
little shocked this card costs 2.
Yeah, that seems like it should maybe
this
cost
really
3.
seems like a 3 cost energy attack to me.
I agree.
But
Also,
It's
is
so
that...
good.
Who is that?
it's
baby
Brawly. It's
Broly.
like
Is
yeah,
it?
it's like
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Broly.
All
That's
right.
his daddy.
Looks like...
it's
Some
teenage
flashback.
Brawly and
Teen
Paragus. Yeah.
Okay.
His hair is reddish for some fucking reason.
Teenage Dream.
Teen Sweetheart Broly.
Oh, here we go. Now we're
yeah.
talking.
Yeah, this is one of the first cards that they previewed, but
And
it's
made
real
me
good.
Real hard for the set.
Yeah, look at
I
that.
love this card. I love everything about it. I love the endurance. I love exactly how much damage it does.
6 is a good number for
I'm-
physical stages.
I'm so glad that it is a secondary, because if it was a hit effect, fuck everything.
Hmm.
This card's real good.
It's basically perfect. And it's
only-
Android
yeah,
named.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Its only
Android
weakness is
title.
that it's non-styled, but then you can also run it in any deck. So
Yep.
I'll take it. That card's awesome.
I like it. It'll used.
I love
Yeah.
it.
And
Love it.
Armbreaker is real good. This card's pretty good.
This
It's
card's
definitely
cool, too.
neat.
Combos with that red block we were talking about earlier.
Yep, that's right. It's the one of the because there's that other weird non-styled energy that the one that you can draw it after enduring or whatever. But
I'm not sure who's
That
going to
one's
be looking to add this to your deck other than unleashed
Unleashed builds.
situations, but
it still does 5, 5, and 5, and
yeah.
devious.
No.
It's not nothing.
5 or 5.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
It's life cards or
stages.
Never mind. And so it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
it's like I wanted that orange physical attack to be.
If it did 4 life and 4 stages, holy crap.
I still don't hate it. I don't think it's going to see like a ton of play, but
If you get to a position where you think you're going to be using your own time and you don't want it to be banished or whatever, you can
Sure.
shuffle it into your deck.
yeah, that card's okay. Android 13.
Android
now we're on
13.
some MPs. So
Redneck robot.
Good name.
I guess let's just go one level at a
he,
time.
he could really use a $30 haircut, though.
That's true. He could.
That's a decent attack for level 1.
Yeah.
4 stages is okay.
I mean, it's the same. Like Brawly does exactly 4 stages, also, right?
yeah.
And has a different anger. Like Brawly just gains an anger, and 13 can theoretically gain 1 or more
Right.
anger a turn.
So, at least for 13, hitting is going to give you an anger always, just as you're going to play an out.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I
it's
was
interesting
gonna
that
ask
it
that.
plays the ally, right?
Yes. And then on top of that, just if you're running a thick Android named,
Sure, bunch of
Yeah.
Android
Which,
stuff.
Why not?
which is good because he kind of needs to get off level 1, especially with what his level 2 does. You pretty much just want to shoot to 3 in this stack. So
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, no, he's a solid
Go to
like.
two?
You could build a version that just
Pushes
kind of
just
sits
the-
at 1 and then
He
poops
pushes
out all
just
the
right
Android
amount of
allies.
Yeah, you
harassy
could.
damage early game, and then can
He's
also
not
net you
useless.
other neat
Yeah.
cards. Yeah,
he does meaningful damage.
Yep, that's neat. Level 2.
This 2's weird.
Again, the maybe the most important part, the option to jump to level 3, because his level 3 is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not
And
that
his
that's
level
gonna
2
happen.
is so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't-
definitely
Yeah, it's definitely not.
it's not a dead zone, but
Yeah, exactly. It's
Right,
it's
it has
better
a-
than
it has
a
an
hole.
effect.
Yeah.
It has an effect.
But yeah, it's nothing to write home about.
I'm glad it skips as an immediate effect.
Yeah.
I feel like for an attack that weak, it needed to do that.
Yeah, I would say he actually was closer to a hole if he didn't do
If
that.
he didn't do that,
yeah, exactly. If that were a hit effect or whatever,
Yeah,
like But no, yeah.
And the hit effect on it's like kind of just gravy.
Yeah, you can get back other cool cards you happen to have lost.
You'll
you
probably
can reset your androids.
Yeah,
if they get banished.
that's gonna be the main
If
key.
you rejuve a banished android ally, you can trigger that drill we were talking
Yeah.
about. Dominance to 20 level 2.
Bam, bam,
Sell it.
bam, bam.
And the other cool thing, not related to any of his specific powers, but the cool thing for 13 stack is that he's still like the android allies are pretty solid.
Right.
Yeah,
Both
they
the
have a
new
good-
ones and 16 and 20.
And you still have access to Nappa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, other villains like
So this
again
level
you if
3
you're in the mood.
This is one of the best. Just
Oh,
like
it's so
MP
good.
levels
This
in
is
the
such a
game.
good
Yeah, I
card.
love
Holy
this.
Power is
crap.
unbelievable.
I love everything about it. It's so awesome. And level 3 is the right level for it to be. Like, you wouldn't want this to be a level 2 or really a level 4, because at that point it's
agree.
like almost unachievable.
Yeah.
Like, this is right where this kind of power needed to land in a stack.
This is the one I was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
by the way, that's constant powers
that's what
that
you were
we're
thinking
pretty
of.
sure doesn't apply to drills, but maybe. I don't know. There's some
He
talk
looks
about
like
it.
a Kuma.
Basically
He does
is.
kind of look like a Kuma.
Android Akuma.
He is a dark villain.
I think people will be unleashing to like building unleashed
Yeah.
Android decks to get just to jump to level 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the
I hope
momentum
they
swing
do.
on his use when entering is just so ridiculous.
Even like if they declare on you, they still skip their
Atta-
first
attacking
phase.
Yeah,
or
and
defending,
lose some
they both
stages,
give
yep.
you huge momentum. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And if the power hits through, it's just like
Wow. The whole thing just goes straight downhill from there.
eminently threatening.
He's got nice power levels.
Yep.
I know, which are about to get worse, which is still the weirdest thing about his stack. Like that he drops, his brackets get a little shittier.
That is
at
really
level
weird.
4.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. His level 4, I think, mostly accepted as not being quite as good as his 3, but it's definitely a little bit of different shift, different focus.
Yeah, I don't hate his level 4, but
It's
No,
not
it's
awful.
still good.
It's definitely not quite as good. Like you have to be terrified of the level 3. The
Right.
level 4 is just a really solid.
You could
like,
set up that level 4 power with a stare down or something to make that attack incredibly terrifying.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that attack late game could be doing 15 or
It can be a
20
finisher.
easily.
right? Yeah. something
Or
like
if people
that.
are running discard pile hate, it might actually not be doing
Or
that
it'll
much.
be kind of
It's
garbage.
for 5 stages.
And none of the non-side attack cards are so good that you want to just crowd your deck with them either.
And his constant power doesn't work on his own power because it's not an attack card.
Right.
So you're not skipping people with their physical for 5.
That's a bummer. Why couldn't you just write that to say your non-style attacks?
It was very intentional, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah, exactly.
Come
I'm
on.
pretty sure. Yeah, he's okay. Deadly Bomber. This card's good.
I like it. The tutor on it, there's a lot you could do with that.
Yep. And the fact that that it kind of needs to be secondary when you compare what some of the other name cards in this set do, like if that part was a hit effect, it would be pretty meh.
It being an energy for stages is interesting.
I like
I
it.
think 13's mostly doing stages anyway.
Right,
so I think
his other
he
powers all do
appreciates that.
stages, so it fits in line there.
Yeah.
I really like the soft dig on hit.
Right.
Like, that's really
Me too.
neat.
The whole
It
thing
doesn't
combines for a
affect
real
the-
nice name card.
Doesn't affect Deadly Bomber because it's a hit effect.
Yeah.
It's a really good card. I feel like I like this card less, but I don't actually remember what it does.
I like
have to
this
read it
card
again.
more.
This card
that's
is
right.
weird.
The parenthetical is everything on this fucking card.
Right.
Yeah.
If you hit with your level 1, you can
Gain a
tutor
fuckload
out
of
an
anger.
ally and then use the ally to tutor this out.
Yep.
And then gain a fuckload of anger. Exactly. And then the actual
other thing
effect
it
of the
does
card
is
is
like
okay.
yeah.
It's weird.
It's still, a physical block to gain 5 stages is not bad.
You can,
Drop 5
yeah, you
stages.
can put the cherry on top of you can mill 5
Oh,
with
yeah,
that
never
in
mind.
plenty of situations, which is kind of funny.
That's really good.
And then all of your attacks are scary.
It
until your
doesn't
opponent
put them to
takes
0, so.
Right. If they're already at 0, you punish the shit out of them.
Isn't that hit effect always going to happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it can't.
Your next successful attack will end
Because
combat,
it's successful.
Yeah.
And hit
Right.
is a successful.
which I don't love. I don't love the fact that you
I
have
think
to end
it's
combat.
funny. It's cute.
It is funny. It would obviously be better if it let you choose.
Right.
But,
Right.
Like, yeah,
Because
that
Android 13
that
hasn't
card-
struck me as a runaway type personality, but
He looks
card's
like he's
okay.
about to run away from Vegeta.
he's running there.
He's ready to bail.
Oh, he's running.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that card's all right.
He's
And
giving him the stare
I
down.
like Android 13 stack in general. I
Yeah.
like all the MP stacks in this set. I really
So-
do.
No, I
We
really
already-
like all
Yeah,
of
I'm
them.
gonna show
You
this.
beautiful bastard, get
The
out
next
of here.
one, because we talked about these. So again, if you
Yeah.
wanna actually hear us talk about them, go listen to the last episode.
He's real good.
He's really
Name
good.
cards.
People who are sleeping on him are stupid.
Yep.
Straight up. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Broly is really good.
He is the defining MP of the set,
I
and a
think
set
so,
that I
too.
think has 3 very good, very
Right.
playable MPs.
Yeah, I agree.
And then now we're on our last one here with Cooler. Cooler is pretty neat.
I like that as powerful as his 2 and especially his 3 are, his one's
His one's
kind of
alright.
middling.
Yeah.
So you really are incentivized
You gotta
to
work
get
for
off
it.
his 1 and
Yeah, I think
Not
that's
just
when
chill
people have, like, because like you said, people have been a little soft on Brawley and sort of flipping their shit about Cooler.
Yeah, right.
I don't think they're
Cooler
gonna-
starts off
I think
slow.
I think when people get their hands on Cooler, the fact that his level 1 is, yeah, exactly, it's going to move at a slower pace than I think people think it will until they actually build decks and start.
But my
Trying
Namekian
shit
Cooler
out.
deck is going to be the best thing ever.
read you
That's it. I like his level 1 a lot, but
Yeah.
it is
it
not.
does exactly what I want it to.
Yeah,
do.
it does not hit the gas in the way that his other levels do.
I mean, blue tag Cooler with Salsa, and you're gonna be drawing cards like crazy.
The constant power, and it
Till
also
you
is
die.
Until
something
you
that
die.
feels like it'll be really good because of the meta we're in now. But again, next set maybe
It'll
won't
it'll
be
have
so good.
specific uses.
Yeah, but if you're playing against a bunch of Broly decks or 13 or whatever, or
Sure,
even
anything
other
that's just
Cooler
looking to
decks,
punch faces, it's
Yeah,
like
it's
it
not gonna
almost
do
doesn't
anything.
exist.
It'll let you sequence things differently if they have like a Saiyan Enraged or something in play or a black power up.
I mean, it's still good to have.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
a neat-
it's not a nothing power.
Also, the ability to discard a red sacrifice whenever you feel like it.
that is very neat. And then like now we're taking off. Like
He really-
Cooler gets nuts from 2
Yeah.
on.
He doesn't
like,
fuck around. As soon as he gets to 2, he's just
That
like,
level
all right.
2 is real
It's like,
something.
hey, you want a card power that does everything? You want a card power that fucking spits in Lord Slug's cereal and then knocks it onto the floor? Just like Jesus.
Cooler knows it too. He's smug as shit in this picture.
Why would you choose that picture? Why?
It's good.
I actually
I'm
like
totally
that picture
okay.
too.
Come on, you don't even have an MP level with the Shredder mask.
I'm fine with it.
That is
Come
actually
on.
disappointing. I'll agree with you there.
You're right. If your level 3 had Shredder,
But specifically, I like this smirk.
whatever. Sure.
So he helps you get to 3, which is super valuable because of how good his 3 is, and because his 2 and his 3 both have attacks. The Rejuve is an immediate effect, which is great. 5 life cards is crit range. It doesn't cost anything because it's a physical, and then the hit effect on it filters your hand and can be set up by like random blue effects, or can be used to trigger again red sacrifice or corruption, or again just it really does.
A lot of styles
lot of
have
things.
had, like blue fear type cards that were hard to
Right.
get that discard this type effect, but
Right.
there
and
you
now
go.
Cooler helps trigger those. Yeah. Well, he's great. And
Yep.
it should be pointed out, all of Cooler's levels have 1 above average PUR.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Noteworthy.
really neat.
Yeah.
And then 3 still.
3, the parenthetical on it is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
One thing people have talked about a little bit, red left bolt is easy to set up with him. His 3 especially, you just choose whatever you want from your Banish Stone and then
Sure,
draw it.
there
I'm
it
gonna
is.
draw it now.
Or just get back whatever critical cards you need. Black Command or whatever. He's getting tons of rejuve. Just you can prevent all the damage from an attack or take a physical for 0 and still
Right, yeah.
Yep.
He's a better version of his own core.
And that swing, 6
Such a
rejuve
big
3.
card.
That's a big number.
So good.
He's going to be hard to run through at high levels. Just
Yeah.
meaty.
And then 4, again, like
Four's
slightly
funny.
slower, but still like
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. One question, I don't remember who asked this, but was this level 4 only being able to drop down a level? Was this designed before or after Cell was
Right.
eroted? That's what I want to know. Like,
That's a good point.
It feels like it
those.
came from the same brain.
right, yeah, probably. So that rejuve, whenever any player gains anger, can really add up,
Yeah.
especially if you're enraged or something and you're gaining a lot of anger. But,
Like-
Sure,
you're
yeah. If you're
playing
natively
against,
gaining
like-
a lot of anger.
If you're
Right.
playing against like a Saiyan deck,
Yep.
yeah,
you
sure.
win. Kind of.
I mean, you heal a bunch.
Uh-huh.
It's a start, but
Yeah, and then once a game is power, just bails you out in a crappy situation.
really cool. And he's got above average PUR, which is neat.
Yep.
That's
He's
my
pretty
one
strong.
actual bummer about 13 is he's the only of the 3 new MPs that has average PUR.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Rebirth's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unique. Does something no other card in the game really does.
Yeah, when I first saw this card, I thought it was a setup. I didn't actually realize it was an energy combat.
And I
until
thought it
looked
was an
at
event.
Until I looked at it again.
It's definitely has that event feel to
It
it.
has the best of all worlds. You can use it on his level 1,
Yeah.
discard it to do his level 1 stuff. It's not spherable. You don't have. It's not a dead card. Like it's just good.
Really neat.
I love that it puts it on top of your deck too. Just top deck that endurance.
3 endurance.
Yeah.
Sure. Or
Extra-
draw it on your level 2.
Sure.
Right, yeah. Extra attack buffer, put it in your hand.
Or draw it at red enraged either.
And then, bam!
This
What a
card.
card!
This is the me.
Probably my favorite named attack
It might be the
it's
best.
up there with 20's domination for like this card is so good.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 anger on it's great. The unpreventable part of it is even better, especially in crit range.
Yep.
I
It
think
does
the-
all the awesome things that it does automatically.
Yeah.
No hits, no nonsense like that.
And then it has that parenthetical that does something.
Yeah.
It does something.
It could have even said like banish this card to destroy.
Right,
something.
that would
Instead-
still be
instead-
good.
Yeah,
And it would
instead
even
you
put it back.
synergize with his weird rejuvenate banish
Mine.
abilities.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Who cares?
No,
This is
it's-
better.
It's so good.
What a card.
Deserves its 3 costs.
Rejuvenate.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, that card's great.
It's gonna pop so many visitings.
Yep.
It really, really is. Oh, what a card.
Gohan.
He searches for allies.
He
I
does
kind of
stuff.
like it.
He's definitely a huge improvement over the last
Well.
one. I mean, that goes without saying. But
Mhm.
I like
It's a
him.
low bar.
If anything, I maybe like him more in Restored than I do in Blue.
Yeah.
Which I think is maybe not
It's got
obvious to
some
a lot of
cool
people.
ally stuff. Like
Yeah,
that,
Namekian's got a lot of ally support.
Like the faux smoothness drill.
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually,
the
that was-
key.
That's the secret one. A lot of people aren't going to think about that, especially because it's also triggered by balls, and I think that's how most people used it before. But he'll have pretty much constant access to that effect.
The problem. Go ahead.
At the start of set 4, I had built a Gohan Namekian ally deck,
It's got a lot of support.
and yeah, that was part of it. But
The problem I have with this Gohan level 1 is if you're using it in Restored, if you advance a level at any point, you're going to be dangerously close to getting to level 3, which is still garbage. And then there's not really great options to either get to 4 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
leaping kick.
At least in Namekian, if you just stay at 1 anytime your
Yeah,
allies
if you
are
can
crit,
stay at
you
1,
can
you'll be
rejuve
fine.
them and then still search them out later if you
Go
feel
on,
like it.
Go on 2 is okay. It
Go on
does
2 is
what
fine.
it does.
Like combo that with Heritage and Onslaughts or
Yeah,
something. When
but
you have your
Gohan
allies
3
set up.
is horrible.
Don't get there.
And that's,
Stop.
you got to
Quit
restrict your
forever.
speed in
or
some
push
ways.
to level 4, which is perfectly fine.
It's perfectly fine.
Indeed.
But I love that it just searches for allies and you can get Piccolos and
Sure.
Chi-Chis. It's going to be really strong in whatever it ends up in.
As someone who has a suite of allies that they can use when they're
Yeah.
at 0. And then we have Krillin.
What's left to say?
The community's correctly pretty low on Krillin level 2. I don't think he fits into any of the types of Krillin decks that most of the community uses. And
No.
even the types of Krillin decks that he was designed for, I don't think he's necessarily a better pick
Yeah.
than the other Krillin level 2. So
Like I said, he'd be kind of a neat level 1 power, but
Yeah.
as a level 2, it's not like you said, he doesn't really fit into the stack that Krillin has right now,
Right.
and he's not good enough to where I'm going to dominance for this power,
It-
and then that's the thing I'm going to do.
it really sucks that he drains his own stages but has a lower PUR than the previous Krillin level 2.
Also a good point.
Power level is surprisingly high.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's the one.
kinda
The
beefy,
one thing he's
which
got
is
going for him is that his
funny.
power level's okay.
it's something.
But yeah, I don't see it being used over the old level 2.
No.
Pretty much
At
ever.
least not right now.
Yeah,
Definitely.
maybe in the future there's
yeah,
some build that supports
definitely
it.
not in most cases. But I mean, yeah,
Krillin physical deck
in
maybe
the
in the
future he gets a different stack. Maybe other levels
Yeah.
are more interestingly. Maybe he's Krillin is stage pressure in set 7. Who can say? Weird turtle
so weird.
Roshi.
It's
Man.
weird.
It's definitely the least versatile personality ever printed. He does exactly what he does. It's kind of cute and not totally terrible
It's
at
pretty
the
much-
thing it does, but
It's the closest anyone's ever going to come that with God Goku of just drawing a card at level 1.
right.
I'm actually a little surprised that he doesn't that he can't rejuve turtle from anywhere. He can't pull him from the banish
Yeah.
zone or something. I don't know. I just feel like if he did that, that would be totally okay, and he still probably wouldn't actually be that playable.
Right,
but-
and especially compared to the other Roshi level 1, which is really good.
Mhm.
This
Kind of meh.
He's got one higher PUR than the old level 1, which I hadn't noticed until just
Yeah.
now.
But even when you're firing on all cylinders and you've got the turtle cycle working for you,
Draw a card
Meh.
and mill a card. Right. Yeah, and the old level 1 is super good.
Right.
so
Yeah.
hard
He
to
doesn't
compete
really
with.
flow with the rest of the Roshi stack anyway.
no.
What a weird card.
What a
Yep.
weird card.
Basically.
Trunks.
I like
one's
this
alright.
Trunks.
I really like the parenthetical. That's a neat.
Yeah,
It's-
I
it's
really
a little bit
enjoy
of
that.
flavor.
He kind of needed it.
The blue dominance Trunks looks real cool.
Yeah, man, keep that whole board. Just
Mhm.
build it.
Got a 3 PUR, which is
Yeah.
nice. Some decent power levels.
Yeah,
Not
stages
amazing, but-
stages are meaty,
Mhm.
meaty-ish.
They really wanted Sword to work.
They're trying real hard to make Sword to
There's
work.
a lot of sword support in this set, yeah.
Rejuve is okay. It's not. You're not gonna base like a deck around it, but it's
It's
flavor.
It's cool that it's there. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you were in like Ruthless or something, that Rejuve on top of putting a card in your deck with Ruthless would add up to a lot of cards over the course
Yeah,
of the game.
if you play a hardcore sword deck, you can play 2-3 sword cards a turn. Especially if you use your level 1 to play sword drill, more sword cards.
Man,
A lot of them are banished after use, though.
I say
Are
it breaks my heart that Sword Slash is banished after
Yeah.
use. It makes me so
Now it
sad.
does.
Yeah.
Plus, they'll have access to Brief's Ally, which is really good.
That's true.
True.
Yeah.
I think this will be a good stack. I don't know if it'll end up in tier 1, but I'm not going to rule that out.
I just think the thing that still kind of hurts him is that he, like, kind of like with Krillin, it's one level, and he doesn't have another, like, sword,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
other level.
You're using physical for 8 on your level 2.
His level 2 is really good.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. I'm just saying, like,
But you're right, it
it
doesn't
seems
support
like-
sword.
yeah, it seems kind of fruitless to build a deck around sword cards when you have one NP thing that actually does anything.
The sad thing is probably it could be well before we get another Trunks sword combination MP,
Right.
Unless he gets one next set.
unless he's in set 7, yeah.
I don't think he uses a sword in set
Right, it's
7,
long
I'm
broken
guessing
at that
that's not
point.
Doesn't
happening.
have a sword.
Although,
That's
yeah,
it,
I
right?
say, yeah, the point I was going to make is what Fro just said off to the side, that in this image, he doesn't have a
Right,
sword at
I don't
all.
see a sword
and he's
here.
still sword
Like
related. So
Sharpie a sword. in
yeah,
it.
they could still
That's what I would
make
do,
a
too.
It's like
new
that
trunk
one-
stack that
that
revolves
drill
around
with
sword stuff.
Yeah,
Chi-Chi
the
on it.
Chi-Chi drill that just
That-
has a random sword effect on it.
Yeah, we're like, just go.
It's good, though. I like it.
I like Icarus.
I
Icarus
really
is
like
good.
Icarus.
I like every single thing about. I like every single thing about him. I think the
Pretty
attack
much.
is really clever and does a cool thing, and
Yeah,
the
I
constant
agree.
power rules. I had wanted a focusing drill ally constant power since set 1.
You and
so
Matt Lowe.
I'll take it.
But it doesn't protect against crit effects.
It's fine. Like
It'll
I
protect
think,
against everything else,
I'm okay with that.
and that's fine.
Even just banish, I would have been fine with. He covers
Yeah,
banish
I think
and destroy.
protecting
so-
from banish is probably the big one. People
Yeah.
will still be packing tug of war if that's the thing that they're afraid of.
Yep.
Yeah, that attack is like perfect for like a tiny little pokey ally.
Yeah, for
power.
a
Just,
free
like,
attack that Gohan can throw, that's great.
really neat. I like Icarus a lot.
Yep.
Android 13's real good.
Yeah.
The most recent. Is this the first attack ally villain has had since
Yeah.
set 1?
There was-
17.
Oh, that's
Right,
right,
yeah,
17.
Yeah, not a good one, but
Did 18 have something too? Or did she just
Well,
have
she's
power?
a
18
weird
could filter an
but
attack.
yeah, it costs a card from your hand. So
That's right.
And you can still only use it if you're at 0
Well, yeah.
unless you're 17.
Nah,
Right.
so-
But it's, I mean,
So yeah, this will be an interesting add to like a Ginyu deck that was already running Android 17.
Mhm.
Other than that, I mean, Android 20 ally, any Android ally that isn't 13 could pack this in,
I think
Although-
you could even just put this in.
or just
you
put it in
without
as
anything.
an attack.
Yeah, even
right?
without the support of other Android allies, 1 for 3 is fine.
Yeah.
For a
It's
Ginyu
no
deck.
Jace, but it's got more staying power than Jace.
He's neat. 14. Now we get into like the
The ones with
synergistic-
words on
yeah,
it.
exactly.
You know, it's so hard.
Read it all again.
All right, and go back and read all those other cards that happen to have Android in it, and also a when you destroy this card from your deck effect. This works with all of them.
So I think.
I forgot that he did the stage buff.
Yeah, it's real
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
I just remembered the other part that was really
It's
neat.
really
I
good.
think it's clever that they made it Android and not just 13.
Mm-hmm.
Because they probably could have just done that, because there's so many other allies that are just like, oh, it's perfect for just him.
Yeah,
But,
I
I
think
mean,
14 and we'll get to 15 combined with 16 and whatever other
20.
Android 20.
Sure.
I don't like Android 20 either, but I think that makes the whole Android package really good.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really
Get
solid.
your Android friends.
And speaking of 15,
There you go.
Found him.
Yep. So that unlike Krilla and Ally, that banishes the drill. It's not coming back.
That sends drill deck straight to hell.
Yep.
And kind of unleashed, too. Or an attached card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's really neat.
And that's
that's a good point
Is
that I
that-
hadn't
There
remembered.
are it's wall breaker tech, which
Yeah.
is valuable.
Yeah.
in 13
Oh, yeah,
since
for
he's
sure.
Yeah,
not
13
wall
definitely doesn't want to be wall broken.
Can he just... Is this a Trunks situation, or is this a weird Goldo thing? Can you use that whenever, or is that like you have to be one stage
Well,
above?
it's a
It's a
constant.
constant,
Yeah.
So
so you can
yeah,
use it
so it's
whenever.
always on.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's none of that confusion with the lightning bolt.
And you can even throw that into random other decks if you've got a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
Android cards in it.
Mm-hmm.
That power is insanely good.
I mean-
increasingly viable.
Oh,
pool
it does
of
say
Android stuff.
destroy it. I was like, you could just search and then do it, but no, you have to actually destroy the card. That's
Yeah, passive board control is no joke.
Can Here's a funny thing that no one else has ever thought of, I guarantee. You can use this card in a villain Dragon Ball deck to shuffle your deck at the end of any turn you feel like it.
Good.
That's
Red garlic,
really-
man.
That's super
Red
clever.
garlic.
Man,
No
what a
one
cool
will ever
thought.
do that.
I mean, now they might.
Now they might, sure.
The
Well,
secret's out.
Red
Genie's
gar-
out of
red-
the bottle.
red
Phil.
garlic.
Red
Needed
Garlic
that.
needed a card like that.
Yeah, no, you're not. Yeah, you're not wrong. Oh, that's so cool. Although they do get to look at your whole deck.
Right,
You can't
it's fail.
actually.
You could run Android Headbutt from set
just to have a
5.
card to actually
Yeah.
fix.
It's a
yeah.
pretty good card in red and
Uh-huh,
ranged anyway.
yeah. It leverages you another
Yeah.
crit maybe and does decent damage
Raises
and
your
anger.
and if you have a red sacrifice, you can pitch
Alright,
it. and-
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And
I like
so
it.
At our 1K,
Calling Alec
they
Rudin.
had Android Headbutt did work.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's an okay
So,
card.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, that's a good card.
Endurance.
Well,
We can't
Brawly
have
ally.
Probably.
Raleigh.
Can't win
This
by
card's
anger.
weird.
It's man, that's so yeah.
It's a weird
Brawly's so
card. I don't
strange.
I don't know where it's gonna turn up in the
So
environment, other than just turles food.
It's
but,
like a Bizarro Goku Sensei.
yeah.
If you want to
And
banish
then-
the most cards possible, put him out with Frieza. And
Yeah.
almost all the things will not come back into
Uh-huh.
play.
Yeah.
It's weird that the "you can't win by anger" tag is on there.
Apropos of nothing, like
Right.
it's on there as its own separate effect
Is
from
that
the
when
other
he's
effects
out,
that he
or
does.
If
That's
he's
while
ever
he's
there.
No,
Okay.
so yeah, if he goes away and
Yeah,
you're
he's
level
not-
5
yeah,
or,
exactly.
or level 4 or
He's not
5
like a
anger, you
leaping
win the
kick.
game.
Yeah, he's not like a leaping kick or whatever.
Okay.
Once he's gone, you can win by anger again, unless some
Right.
other effect has
It's like
stopped you
that
from winning
one,
by anger.
like Red Escape, isn't that it? You can't
Yeah.
win the turn,
This turn,
but then you
yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like the other effect.
Yeah, his last effect I do actually like a lot. I'm not
hybrid
sure.
defenses.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
I'm not sure.
Oh, goodbye.
Yeah.
Still, how many builds he'll like
Right.
make it into
Yeah.
on that alone? But it's a neat
Your
power.
cooler supernova is banished after use.
Oh dear.
Oh,
So
dear.
long.
Speaking of cooler, is he next?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
he's
he's
so
mad.
angered. Look at him.
He looks pained more than angry.
He's like, why don't I have an attack? The parenthetical's like funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So random.
like I guess it ties into his MP discarding powers.
But
like
you
our,
can't
he
use-
also works with discarding for some reason,
Right.
just thematically. That's a thing that Cooler does.
I kind of wish it was an actual meta cooler ally, and he
Yeah.
could be used by Cooler because he like clones himself in that movie.
I had thought about that before the,
Yeah,
the
you
set
would-
was revealed. I was like, maybe you can have multiple Metal Cooler allies.
Right.
How funny would that be?
Oh well.
I think he fits better maybe in Ginyu than almost anything else. Because Ginyu's level up effect is anger, not an actual level up. And he can just shit on
Yeah.
Unleashed decks or whatever decks.
Yeah,
you
that'll
want.
be again a tech thing.
Digs.
Yep. He should have his power activated power should have been able to be used by Frieza.
Yeah.
Sure,
If
why
he's
not?
yeah, exactly. Just because.
Come on, tie 'em
Throw
together.
Frieza a tiny bone.
Nope.
Just do it.
Tiny younger brother bone.
Paragus.
He's
Daddy.
got words.
Okay.
So the effects that end combat cannot be used is going to be useful just in random decks.
Yeah.
There are more combat enters now. 13's got access to one. Cooler's
Especially
got
if
access
you're
to one.
Broly, like
Mhm.
if you enter,
Right.
you want to be there.
Right,
Like,
you don't want
you
combat ending. And
rain on their parade.
he's in the set. I think he and Broly are the two Saiyan heritage allies, which is important for a
Yeah.
few effects,
Padding out that
especially
line
Turles
of-
ally.
Yeah, right.
So his power only requires you to have 2 attack cards, but does reveal your entire hand. So no more secrets after you activate it.
Yeah.
It's a weird power that I'm not sure will.
Broly could turn into a weird deck where you're revealing your hand to use your power, and then you're revealing your hand again to use this power, and you're just kind of sitting around and building up steam, and then you attack all your hand, and not even worrying about sequencing so much.
Repeatedly
probably won't work that
revealing
well
the same
in the
Saiyan
long
attack
run.
that uses a crit when you reveal it.
Yes!
It's there. It's there.
Still
again.
there.
Still there.
Hey, guess what?
Look at it again.
I didn't use it.
So cool.
If you can find a deck that has enough when this card is revealed, or whenever you reveal a card type
Uh-huh.
effects, then Paragus will be really good.
Red's got a few of them.
Yeah.
Black
I'd
might
say
have
Red
one, too.
Sox on.
Yeah.
Funny.
He's okay. Salsa.
It's also
Salsa.
cool in the one
The
deck
thing
he
he
uses
does.
it.
Right.
So the obvious thing he does is net you a hand,
Right.
a card if you're cooler, low levels of cooler, but also if you're cooler in like Devious or Enraged when you level up or Prod or whatever. So.
Yeah, the little stage gate is appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's a
there.
cool
Mhm.
cherry on top.
Mhm.
You're talking about things that aren't necessarily
Get
the focus of the
stared
card.
around.
Right.
Here's some stage.
If you're like Blue Prod ally, it's probably going to give you 2 stages just about every turn, which isn't a ton, but.
Blue tag Saul's a cooler.
Maybe
Dominance
not.
to 2 and his 2 discards a card from hand. Anyway,
There's level 1 discards from hand.
Yeah.
this
Black
card's
Invitation.
Weird.
Oh, this card is really weird.
Oh yeah, this one. I mean, you can make a long list of great
Yeah.
hit effects on black cards.
There's a lot of things this works with, but it's also spherable.
Yeah.
The 2 it needed to have an effect like that. So-
Yeah.
And the endurance, I think, is also necessary on this card for it to be
Anything?
worth considering. But it is really strong, but maybe just too hard to use properly in practice.
Yeah.
The other weird thing about it is how many you kind of have to run an abundance of
lot.
hit effects to
Yeah.
make it worthwhile, which is
Defensive
sort of
burst,
hard to do.
Capture, energy web.
Right.
There's others.
It's certainly
Disorienting blow.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
that you can't make
But
a
you
good deck
also
that has a
have
lot
to
of those
have
cards
it
in it, but it is a
in
very
hand.
specific
So-
deck.
Right, exactly.
It's
kinda
interesting.
rough.
And those types of black decks are already crowded.
Right. It'll be interesting to see if and where people find room for this card.
Yeah.
So
So
it's an attack.
Right. You're basically putting yourself down and attack in every situation.
Yeah.
Will too.
Well, if you look back at those other I think it was set 4 that had 2 or 3 kind of neat black style events that ultimately people haven't used at all.
Yeah.
So this card might go that route.
Yeah.
But
This
I
card
guess-
would go well in a deck like Yamcha that can get out of combat easily after,
Oh sure.
unload your hand quickly and then
Yeah.
just run.
Mhm.
Especially if you can attach a black capture using this or something.
Yeah. Right. And
Right.
optimal.
Ultimately, it'll be in very defensive passive decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mostly.
Oh, for sure.
Black Liberation.
This card's super cool
this.
too.
It's really neat.
Very weird.
Man, that is strange.
So as
yeah.
it was pointed out to me the other day, you can, if
Hit
you're
your
a
own
black
cards.
cooler, you can use your thing when entering combat to
Steal
your
the-
Nova, yeah,
Uh-huh.
basically to steal it. So
gank a visiting and then suck something
it's
cool out of
mine
your
now.
discard
It's
pile.
like
Yeah.
a weird Goku's
Instant
instant transmission. So
That doesn't cost a card from hand.
Hee-hee.
just you have to have this in your hand.
Well,
Oh.
it costs a card, but not an extra one.
What a strange.
It's weird.
It's a thing.
It's another one, and just I'm curious to see if
What
and where
am?
people play it
Mhm.
because it does something really neat.
Endurance would have buffed this card.
But also
Yeah.
still spherable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also go back. It's an
It's an event.
It's an instant.
And
Yeah, it's in its use.
I guess it would have to be.
yeah.
Yeah. Kind of.
Right.
Blue Hunt.
It's neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Blue Anger, man. Although it's hard, I guess you would raise your opponent's anger with the mastery. It'd probably be the best way, but
Sure.
you're still putting yourself down in anger a little.
3, kind of.
It's a weird tutor. It's okay.
But
I don't
yeah,
love it. I don't hate it.
If you're running Blue Anger, this will be in there.
Also kind of good against decks that want to camp on a level. It's
Mhm.
like, no!
Yeah, this was. I said it earlier that Blue needed more cards that just kind of synergize together with raising your opponent's anger, and that'll do it.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's neat. Blue Skid.
Oh yeah, this card's
Yeah, I
super
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more.
cool. I'm a tag deck.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
there it
More
is.
more tag stuff.
And being
Yeah.
a physical for life is nice.
Yeah, it's a decent sized attack.
I'm trying to remember, his tag rejuves at the end of combat?
Yeah, from your banish
From
zone.
your banish zone.
So,
So they'd be at the bottom
you
of
get
your
to choose
deck.
the order.
yeah,
So you
I
would
was just,
rejuve
yeah.
it and then put it into play.
Oh, hey, look, boom.
Is tag at the end of combat or the end
Yes,
of the turn?
it's end of combat.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, so these would fall. Yeah, exactly. You would rejuve first and then immediately
assuming
tag
that
him
was
into play.
maybe
Run.
And
Tag.
even if you were Goku 1, you could
Run
rejuve
tag,
it and then play it
please?
and
And
then
then
search
search
your
for
deck
it.
for a
Yeah.
different ally.
Yeah.
And stack them on top.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it does some things.
Yeah.
Definitely not useless. Like that card will have capabilities in that build. Namekian Power Charge.
It's real good.
Yeah, that card's cool.
Another really sweet restored card.
Yep.
So I'll
And
take it.
Another again, just expanding that stage pressure pool.
And it sort of runs into the same niche as Namekian Backhand, or whichever the one used 3 times.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Although this
it's
isn't
al-
banished after use,
Sure.
so you can recycle it.
You can draw it again with left kick or whatever that draws from the top of that.
Or if you just want hardcore stage damage and nothing else, you run both.
Yep.
Oh, the other cool, like you can, if you have other redo options, which like in Namekian you probably do, right? You
Put
can
it on the
also
bottom
pop it back to
and then
hand,
put it back
essentially
in.
once a combat,
Yeah.
like with restored, like if you can sequence it
Oh,
correctly.
this is mine now.
Right.
Come back.
And the card draw from the mastery, obviously you can set that up with no additional support. So
Mhm.
that's a neat
Uh-huh.
card.
I like it.
I like it a lot. You can make it do extra damage with Heritage Drill.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
something
kinda cool.
backhand doesn't have.
Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Aha.
How about that? Namekian Face Off.
This card's weird.
Oh, this card is so weird.
This card's neat.
It's maybe the only Namekian card that can search for non-style
I was-
drills.
Oh, does that one
Maybe.
event from a couple sets ago, does that
don't
search for style
remember.
drill or not? It's like search
that
for a
that
drill
one's
or
also
also
ally.
from
from your
does something
discard
else.
pile too,
Is
I
it?
think.
Never used it.
It's a really strange
Yeah,
card.
Good for you.
I don't think it'll see much play.
No,
It needed either endurance or anger. Or
Yeah.
Something else.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe a little more damage or
Not
yeah.
quite enough. Namekian Salvo. This card's kind of cool, but it's still really expensive at least at base value.
Right.
Namekian ally
It-
does.
Right.
It has a crit possibly built in and endurance,
Yeah.
which is pretty valuable.
It does enough damage that there's a
Right,
good chance
it's,
it could
it's
crit
one of those
anyway.
cool double
so-
crit cards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to replace Optic Blast in decks.
No.
And it's sort of going to
It also,
be doing
if
the
you're
same
already
thing.
running maximum wills and you wanted a crit effect, this pushes you over on the anger tech, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it does sort of.
You could
run
lower your
into
opponent's
that,
anger
too.
4 with this card.
Right. Yeah, I like it as a cool option. Like, it's definitely situational with how much it costs, but
Right.
it is neat. I like it. It's better than that.
It does
other-
work on Dragon Balls you don't control.
Yes,
So.
it says in
which is
play.
also neat. Yeah. To a minimum of 0. Can't pay negative stages to
Give
perform
me
it.
stages.
But I
That's a-
can't gain any more stages.
That's a cool card. Oh, this picture's bad.
Yes, it is.
But what are you gonna do?
So is
orange,
this
orange
card.
snoozing drill.
Yeah, this card's not great. It's obviously built for the physical versions of orange, but
Depending on how Saiyan Empowered Mastery works, it might turn off the anger too. I don't know. I don't think it would.
I
They're
don't think
separate
so.
sentences.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost positive they're
'Cause
separate.
the anger is just immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I don't love it. Next.
Snoozing.
That's a good image.
Yep.
That's all. That's a fist right there.
This card needed endurance.
Yes, it
God
did.
damn it.
Every orange physical attack needs endurance.
Just
Ah.
like 1 or 2 cornerstone orange physicals with endurance would go
I mean,
so far.
It's got to
This
start
one
somewhere.
is pretty
but,
okay otherwise.
good.
Yeah.
But
Eh,
Check use,
eh.
2 endurance on that card would
Why is it
turn it
banishing
into a whole different
Fuse?
thing. I
'Cause
mean,
it
it
can
does
draw a
draw.
card.
Yeah,
So it can
draw.
situationally draw a card.
Well,
Anything that draws a card.
yeah,
push for it.
erring on the side of caution might be
Yeah,
the best.
I'm okay with it banished. It's the
Uh-huh.
lack of endurance just
Yeah.
bites.
Nom, nom, nom.
God, that
Um,
deck
um,
so little.
It's Android name, so you can just pitch it for Android.
Yeah.
That's true.
13
It's not only
powers.
Android named, it's Android named and gives you anger. So it fits pretty well into Orange 13 if that's a deck you're building.
I suspect it's not, but maybe.
But if you are,
never
this is
know.
the card
That's
for
right.
you.
This is the
I'll think of
card.
add up for every personality at least once.
Mhm. This card's cool.
Yeah.
It has the revealed effect. I think it's the only revealed effect that you could reveal it multiple times.
Right.
Theoretically, because that setup from set 4, you have to
Yeah, you
banish
have to
it
banish
to
it
tutor the.
instead. Or,
But,
or
but it's
not
also
instead.
a setup you would be running in Broly potentially.
Uh-huh.
I like more drill control.
But yeah, that card's pretty cool.
Drill, drill,
I like it.
drill.
Red gets all the best drill control.
Yeah, I really like the package that Red has built up over
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
to
I
support
hope
its weird
something good comes
drills.
of it.
I mean, I think it kind of already has. It's not like, it's not the.
It's not
like-
overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly. It's not building a board like Oranges or even like Blue
building a
Dominance or
board of
whatever, but
setups.
it's basically yeah, exactly. It's like
You
conditional
drop-
support. Just
Drop
like, all right, this
forward
turn I'm
stance,
gonna have this
intimidation,
out.
and
Yeah.
the Red Despair drill. That's a setup.
Yeah, this card's okay. It's not amazing, but it's definitely not terrible. Like,
It's got endurance.
yeah, it's got endurance. You can always master it away in Ruthless, which is never bad. Red Double Blast.
It's okay.
Another stage damage
kinda
energy
like it.
attack
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
stay in play more than once.
It's got 2 endurance. It's not banish after use. Yep, and you can cycle it with Ruthless Mastery, which is cool.
It's choose
And if-
Yeah, that's a ton of cool
Choose
chip
advantage.
damage.
You've got
Yeah.
Despair drill out.
Whoa.
All those 4 attacks are gonna pile up.
Yep. The only heartbreaking thing it loses in Ruthless is the anti-anger, which
Yeah,
kind of hurts, but
yeah.
you know, what are you going to do? That'd be a lot of targeted banishing, though. That card's
Yeah.
okay. Like,
And if you've got that and like a red stop in your hand or something, you can target 4 out of their discard pile.
although, similar to what you said, Phil, with that other Namekian physical, I like Dev Blow way more,
Yeah.
even in Red
Right,
Ruthless,
yeah.
for that purpose,
Yeah.
for just banishing a maximum number of
6
good
cards.
cards.
It'll
Yeah.
probably do
Plus
about
all
3
the
stages
anger
of
things.
damage anyway.
I did
Yeah.
double Dev Blows in single combats multiple times in Chicago.
I bet it was
basically
pretty-
won me the game each
yeah.
time I did it.
Demoralizing.
It was real good. Anyway, Red Furious Lunge.
Roll.
I like this card.
Yeah, this is another solid, like, maybe every single style has one really just like, it's just a solid meaty attack. Like, bread and butter, good stuff.
We can debate whether the effect of time stops it.
Oh, the floating effect?
Because the floating effect happens.
I think it does.
I think it does.
Or even if you played it as the defense, it would still stop it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that... Yeah, I don't think the floating effects generated by cards are styled or non-styled. So I would...
And
my opinion would be that, yeah, it would be stopped by the floating effect of time after it's been played.
And there aren't many other non-styled blocks out there.
Right. Enhanced reflexes.
At some point.
I'm sure somebody will have it on a list of...
I
Punches-
doubt they'll
punches through
clarify
Yamcha's
it
rescue.
to get around time because that would require some weird rules.
Right.
Nonsense.
But clarification might be necessary.
I mean, even without that line, it's still an
Endurance
okay...
2,
like,
8,
yeah,
attack plus
exactly.
4, if successful, raise your anger 2. It's,
It's got
Two
endurance.
endurance.
It's got endurance and applies pressure, and it can give you as much anger as double
Can't-
strikes can.
Yeah.
Can't be stopped by Chi-Chi or Goldo.
Or enhanced reflexes.
Or enhanced reflexes. Or probably a couple other things.
Yamcha.
Yamcha. Well, Yamcha creates a floating
Well,
effect.
rescue.
So
Nails heritage.
yeah, rescue
Right,
would
his
work.
block.
That's
Yeah.
Heritage would work. Yep.
That's a cool card. I like it. Saiyan recovery.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
thank goodness.
named.
Another Saiyan name set up.
It's got a lot of endurance.
Yeah. It draws a card. A setup that draws a card is actually really
Yeah,
neat.
no, that's
You can
cool.
use that
I
energy
really,
block to
I
get it
really,
back and draw a
really,
card.
There you
really
go.
like the reveal part for like for beatdown purposes. Just
Right.
like take a
Your
look. So
opponent
like,
reveals-
all right, you got nothing. Fuck it.
Uh-huh.
That ability does 3 things,
Uh-huh.
and it's a card that has 4 endurance, and now is tutorable with that energy block. So
Yeah, no, that
Give
card's
it-
real cool. I like it a lot.
it's got a lot of animals on it.
It's not as flashy as like Red
Borderline
Relaxation,
creatures.
but it can still pack the same kind of punch.
Yeah, no, it's up there. Yeah, that card's
You
really
want
neat.
actions in combat as Saiyan Man.
Yeah.
Go,
there.
go, go.
Saiyan Flight.
It does 5 if pitched for
For rampage.
right
sure.
for rampaging.
Yeah.
That's a real attack.
Uh-huh.
Saiyan terrifying strike.
That is a terrifying image.
That
Yes.
probably looks real mean. Gohan's like, what?
That card's kind of cool.
Your chest is so big, Broly-san.
You
Broly
said it,
If only there were captions in this game.
man.
Just start writing captions on cards.
There are a lot of stage
I like-
effects.
yeah,
so
I like
it's
this.
not hard to get this to be unstoppable.
Battle
And
pausing.
the extra anger on it is cool. That's
That's right.
fine.
Force your opponents to.
Uh-huh. Before you dig them.
Right.
Oh, bad combos are the best.
Yay.
I'm glad it's Hey Raise Your Anger one.
Yeah, I think it'll...
It needed an effect like that to be even remotely useful.
Ramp.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because I even like with that, I still
It's
feel
still
like it's gonna.
borderline.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty borderline compared to like
There's a lot of
sword,
other
like
good
Saiyan
games.
Sword Strike. Is that what the set 4 card's called?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
that
With a
other
couple
other
others.
set 3 card's okay. That just stops them from gaining stages, or any number of other things in this set that are just different
Right.
takes on.
This
Like,
set brought a lot of big Saiyan stuff, so
yeah,
it'll be hard to build those decks.
but it's not like unviable on its face.
No,
so
it's,
that's neat.
it's a fine sealed card.
Highest ratio of chests to image.
It's up there.
You said it.
Percentage of chest on cards.
This card owns.
This card does
I really like this
is
card.
really
It's a
neat.
fucking card.
And it's really weird.
Yep. And I think it costs the right amount for
Yes.
Yeah.
the effect that it has to be able to like pop it back into your hand or whatever.
Right.
I think costing 3 is perfect. I think the 3 life cards is basically perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really like
If you're
everything
using
about
this
this
card, you
card.
better be confident that you're going to have stages to do it, and probably also some anger tech in your deck to actually take advantage of the anger gain on it. But yeah, you can't complain about a card with endurance that puts itself into your
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think this card's really neat.
Surprise free hand advantage.
Right.
Especially if you're a deck like Prot or Ruthless. Well, Ruthless you need it to be styled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Prot you can just pitch it as
Pitch
a
it
block.
for a physical block, or
Yeah.
if you're fighting Devious, like it can be your
Right.
throwaway
The free
card. Yeah,
card.
just depending
Thank
on
you.
what
if you're
stage
red
of the
and-
combat you're in.
Especially if you're red and raged.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
level and drop it.
It's
or,
your new.
Or if
or
you're,
if you're able to
if you're
crit
cooler
them down to
level
0.
1, you can just push that as your free card of the turn.
Yep. And then put it back in your deck to draw later.
Yep.
Yeah, that card is a-okay.
It does a lot.
That's the perfect
I like
thing
it.
to do with it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Unless your opponent's anger is 0, and then you
And then you
use
want
it
the
to get
anger,
2
sure.
Yeah. Anyway, it does a lot. I like
Yep.
it.
Neat.
Good card.
This card's cool too.
Yeah.
It's a little less impressive on its face, I think, but
Right.
it's still
It's a
good.
meta thing.
Like I like it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a meta. It's such a meta call.
I like that villains now have 2 colorless cards that lower your opponent's anger by at least 2 with this and energy beam. So any villain now, if he feels like it,
Right.
can
Yeah.
have
You have no excuse if you want to be
Right.
stacked for anti-anger. You
Right.
can do it.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's a 2 per deck in Banish, but
I'm okay with it.
yeah, I doubt you'd be running
-4 is
3
a lot of
anyway.
stages.
Mm-hmm. In a potential physical meta, this would be a really good card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely glad it is still prevention.
Yeah, right.
Like,
so Dig will
Right,
still
instead
eat
of
it.
reduction.
Yeah, -4 would have changed that card quite a bit
Yeah.
and made it significantly more playable. But I think it is playable enough as is. Like, I
Yeah,
like where
I
they
agree.
landed on balancing all the things that it does.
I agree. Kind of feels like it could be a rare too.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I actually thought it was a rare the first time I saw
Yeah,
it. So it's
yeah.
a little weird that it's uncommon, but
Eh.
like a patient.
This is a real card.
This card's weird.
It's very weird.
Yep.
That stuff. I'd like it to be a deck. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen.
I
I think people will slot it into current
Right.
Black Roshi.
Don't
Oh, yeah,
don't
it's-
underestimate people's ability to play like cowards.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I guess so.
Black Roshi had room to have more dead draws, and this is it.
That's right.
I'm just gonna attach this and pass until you do something about it.
Might attach a Black Capture at some point.
Right.
With the capture Yamcha thing with the other thing would be an interesting coward deck.
Coward deck.
Black coward dog.
It's okay.
Black cowardice.
It's got a good image. Kinkai yelling at people is pretty awesome.
Yep.
It's another reason to run decks without setup strills and
Right.
allies.
Use Saiyan Broly and just shrug.
You can't see it, but I'm putting up middle fingers to the card.
That's right. Yeah, that card's okay.
Goku's wearing a suit.
Goku is wearing a suit.
People will definitely use this.
Yeah, that card will see play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Black Dispersion.
That card's super cool.
It's really neat. I really want to play Perceptive just to run cards like this.
Man, that is really neat.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's so good.
It has to be styled, which means a lot of the staples are not really going to get hit by it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of decks that can shrug that off.
Right. There's a lot of decks that
But
Yeah,
those aren't the
have
types
style
of decks
things.
people use.
For having that be a hit effect, I feel like costing 4 might be
Yeah.
a little much.
I agree.
Yeah.
A bunch
Yeah.
of weird stuff.
Especially
And it has
for-
no endurance and no immediate
Right.
effect, so it doesn't do anything out of your hand.
Yeah, the number 1 on this card would have gone a long way again. Whether
Also-
it's
also
gain,
you
or,
have-
gain or lower in
Surrender.
anger, cost 1 less, 1 endurance.
And you've committed to being either Perceptive or like Black Cell level 1.
Sure.
There are a lot of effects you can use the Kane stages in black now. And you
Yeah,
got
still got
That's,
Finger Block.
Soul
You
and
got
Playful Punch.
yeah,
and,
Playful Punch
Block,
and-
and there's a new one that gives you 2 stages.
The mill card.
Heroic Assistance.
Salsa.
Black Nightmare.
Sure.
Woohoo.
Okay, but not amazing.
Yeah.
The hit effect is really cool. It's
Yeah, I wish I could use that effect ever in a tournament,
right.
but
yeah.
I won't.
Mhm.
This card's cool. I like
Black
it.
Dive. Yeah.
This is cool. I really
Feels
like
like it
this
should be a Saiyan card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So the image almost feels like it's not even from this game.
Yeah, it looks a little weird. Like that screen grab in particular looks really,
How's it going?
Man.
really strange.
Your back's doing some weird things there, Salsa.
What
And his
am?
face is kind of weird. Your face.
What's wrong with your face?
So it's got a pretty cool, like, you have to stop it.
Yeah.
Or
but
yeah,
if you
exactly.
do,
If you
like,
do, you pay something.
Yeah.
I like
Combo
Black's.
this into that last one.
Yeah.
Profit.
Right.
Black has some cool things going on in that regard, yeah.
Yeah, Black's got a nice package of something good's gonna happen from you whether you stop it or not effects.
Right.
Yeah, that card's okay. Yeah, exactly. This is the card that all those really terrible set 4 cards wish they were.
Yeah.
Like this one actually sort of lives up to the hype, where
Right.
all those other cards. Oh, it does 0 damage. And if you stop it, it does
Don't
something.
care.
Great.
Well, my face.
Moving on. Black Drain.
I don't think I ever saw this one.
It's
This
weird
is-
to me
this
that
is
this is an
really
energy
good.
attack, just based on the image.
Yeah.
Just like it feels like it should be an event or something.
I really like this card.
Yeah. Yeah, so you could kind of double hit your opponent out
Uh-huh.
of that and take a card off the board and discard a card from their hands. And on
Yeah.
top of that, the destroy being an immediate effect is really cool. Synergizes with some other black cards that have come out and also just basically adds a damage to the attack.
Yeah, that card seems
So
okay.
if you're gonna run a black aggressive deck, say in the first set 6 regional, this is gonna do work for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Endurance still would have been appreciated.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it still barely has an immediate effect of any form, and no endurance, so
But it's okay.
it's a good, yeah,
It's interesting.
a good hit effect.
Oh, the other card we got.
We've talked
Man,
about
this
card
one's so
before,
good.
But yeah, this is one of the best cards in
Yeah.
the set for sure. The 3 costs totally just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of cards that should cost, this card should cost exactly 3 stages.
Yep.
I mean, if it costs 4, it might still be playable.
Yeah.
That's how good it is.
Yeah, yeah. The endurance on it's great. The damage is super solid. The immediate effect is really cool.
Yeah, the top
Something
deck.
like Blue Cooler could get a lot of use out of it, and then the hit effect is just.
Yep.
It does a ton of good things.
Yep.
You'll never be mad about drawing that card.
Unless you're at 0.
Unless you're at 0.
Then you're
Unless-
probably prod.
You've got other problems.
Right.
It's a
you
physical
can, you can
block.
pitch it
Yeah.
for- yeah.
It does everything.
Exactly.
Blue decapitation.
One of the
Another
best
card that does
images.
great things.
I wish the attack part of this was
Who
just
cares?
even slightly different
yeah.
in any way. Like, it's
Yeah,
fine.
you'll never use it.
Uh-huh.
You'll use it once in a lifetime in a Blue Guinea deck and go crazy from there.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously,
That's not why he
Blue
cares.
Betrayal is probably the biggest, the
Sure,
most
yeah.
obvious thing you can
Yeah.
do with it. But also like
Blue
head
lunge,
knock, blue
blue
lunge.
nut, head knock, yeah.
Yeah, there's some good options for it.
It's a cool card.
It's a great
Yep,
card.
agreed.
I think you're going to see that all over the place in blue decks.
That
Especially
makes-
because they needed the help on setup board control.
Oh,
Blue
for
Betrayal
sure.
alone wasn't doing
Right.
it.
Now they can have 2 blue
Now you have
betrayals.
more
And
blue
if you're
betrayals.
Broly, you can also have a racer cannon.
Yeah.
This is a physical combat card and a physical attack for purposes of Broly, even though you're not usually
Right, yeah.
playing it as an attack.
Sure.
Just to fill out that, yeah, exactly. To fill out your lineup of
Things to
stuff to show
reveal.
people.
Yep.
Oh, look.
That's neat. Yeah, I like that card a lot.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Wish it had endurance.
I love
Yep.
this card too. This card's super duper.
Yeah, I
Duper
really
good.
like this one.
So the anger on it is huge either way.
Yeah, that's
the
so
damage
neat.
is really good.
You can even lower
I
your
like-
own anger.
I like the cost on it, and then the hit effect is good. Like it just does everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the cost plus ally thing as opposed to just making it cost more.
Right.
Right,
Or,
I
like,
agree.
yeah, I think it's a cool combination
It's-
of requirements.
Clearly suited better for tag, but you could totally use it in a
Yeah.
broad deck if you felt like
Or
it.
just like any Guinea deck, just throw those right in.
Yep.
Blam, blam,
Also, it triggers that drill I was talking about
Yeah.
for when you rejuve your allies.
There you go.
And when you play an ally.
Yeah.
And we show him at the end of combat. Oh, look, he's on the bottom. He's back.
So much.
As long as you have 2 allies discarded.
Card's real
Yeah.
good. Blue done
Oh,
good
you
on
gotta-
energy
you have
tax
to have
this
1
set.
in play.
Right.
Alright.
Yeah, blue got
You-
a couple of really solid energies.
This might be the first effect that rejuvenates a card in play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blue Keyball.
Keyball.
The last card to be revealed, I believe.
Yes,
the
it
last
was.
card that someone managed
Somebody
to post
dug
an
it
image of on the internet.
It's okay.
Eh.
It's very underwhelming
Right.
compared to the blue energy tax we've seen
The,
previously.
the last 3 cards were great. This is kind
I mean,
of.
Blue got another anger
Get rid of
option.
a
It's got
dead draw.
endurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like
It's
that
okay.
The secondary hand cycling is cool.
they've
Yeah.
kept blue pretty consistent on you can raise or lower anybody's anger any amount.
I don't even, we
I
don't
like
even
it.
care anymore.
You control the
Yeah,
anger.
right. Do what you feel, man. Want to get mad?
Anger.
Go for it.
Allow
Make
it.
somebody else mad. Calm somebody
calm.
down.
That's right.
Yeah, I like it.
It's okay. Oh, speaking of images that are hard to read. Energy cost of 2.
Raise either player's anger too.
Yep. Raise a player's anger 2. If your opponent advances
Eh.
a level, your attacks cannot be prevented this turn. Does
Eh.
5.
It would make it unpreventable on the top, but
Mhm.
Yeah. It
Eh.
is also still 2 for 5. Raise your anger too. If
Yeah,
that's what
which
you
is
want
cool.
out of it.
yeah.
Yeah, and then potentially other things.
And you, on hit, you gain anger whenever they gain anger. Whenever
Yeah.
one of your effects makes them.
Right.
Right,
Which
that's the important
there aren't a
Yeah.
ton, but
So I mean,
Well, no, I mean, that'd be like raising
Mhm.
their anger with.
there aren't a ton that you wouldn't gain more just by gaining yourself anger.
Fair enough.
you can
Anytime
There's-
you can prot to symmetrically raise anger
There's,
for
there's
some
a
reason.
there's a set 4 blue card that you can raise your opponent's anger 2 to raise your anger 2. Then you'd raise your anger 3.
Ha ha.
Whoa. Anytime blue gets an attack that raises your anger to like
Put
that's
it
a
into the
good thing.
pile.
It's a good thing to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
once
okay.
once you get to 7 or 8, then you can build the deck.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
We're getting there.
It
Yeah,
justifies
we're getting there.
itself. Namekian prep talk. This is a good picture.
Yeah.
Then they-
Vegeta is got the 1,000-yard stare
This
there.
pep talk not working.
This card's interesting,
Fight.
but I
Yeah.
feel like it's not going to get much play.
That's how I feel about it too.
Well, there was the other card already that was
Well, sure, yeah. If
Make
you
your
if you
allies
just
do
want the
attacks.
ally and life card buff, this card is terrible. The
Right.
Dragon Ball thing is weird and kind of cool,
but it's Namekian.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got 2 endurance.
Yeah, exactly. It does have 2 endurance.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
And a picture of defeated Vegeta.
Also, why would you build a Namekian deck without Dragon Balls?
Because you hate yourself.
Maybe the third Namekian Mastery won't have anything
There
to do
you
with
go.
Dragon Balls.
There you go.
That'll
Yeah.
be the day.
Anything's possible. It's anti-ball. Like it gets worse the more the higher number of Dragon Balls there are in play.
Not gonna happen.
Like in Harvesting Drill.
It's a cool name and
I
picture.
like it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Namekian loves it.
Yeah, I was going to say this is
Absolutely.
definitely a playable drill. Like
Although it doesn't get around Frieza.
that's true, but you know what are you gonna
Or Broly ally.
Yeah.
do? That's also true. Yeah, no, that card is good. That card,
Yeah.
I would think, should see some play, unless...
On a long enough timeline, when a hero's heart is strong comes back into the game, that's when this card goes back into decks.
If Cell is heavy in the meta, this
Or
shuts
that.
him down at level 3.
Yeah.
Which
Get
is no
sad.
joke. Like, that is a real, like,
You're
game
stuck
shifting.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have a pathetic, unpreventable 7-life card attack
Yeah,
every
exactly.
turn.
You baby.
Why'd you go home and cry about it, you dumb Cell?
Aw. This card's good.
Yeah.
Get
Yep.
shocked by pink.
Yeah, this is really good. This is
I
one
like-
of those
I like-
cards where it has the endurance when maybe it would have been fine without it.
I'm glad.
But who
it has it.
cares?
And I'm glad it's only one. One endurance
Yeah.
is fine on this card.
Mhm.
The hit effect not requiring you to discard a Dragon Ball is also great.
Yeah, the reveal
Thank
is...
God.
If it had been a Dragon Ball, I would be
Mhm.
secretly upset.
Yeah, no kidding. That would have been really dumb. And the reveal on the secondary is cool for
Yeah, that's
ball
fine.
bouncing purposes, like
Yep.
in hurried
Or even
quests or
just
whatever.
general
Right. Or
just
restored
have one in your
purposes.
hand.
Yeah, because you'll tend to have one in your hand anyway.
Mhm. I like every little thing about this card.
Yeah.
Like,
Namekian
it's not too
Energy is
good,
a real
but
good
it's
deck.
really good. I like it a lot. Dash.
Eh.
Sort of a ball tutor.
Yeah, that's a very funny secondary also.
You could have a really high density of ball tutors in the meta
Right.
now.
Mhm.
You
That's
just
it.
want to play the balls out fast as you can. This is how you do it.
Sure.
With
If you want to
Kami
average,
and
yeah, if you want to
Gohan
average one card per combat, that could theoretically
Go,
tutor a ball.
go,
We're getting
go.
close to that point.
Never stop.
Chain it with those cards that
Mhm.
can't. They turn off Dragon Ball captures and just.
Sure. And I'm gonna say that's probably like its only use really is to
Yeah.
if you want to make a ball searching dense deck. then
Yeah.
I agree.
That's the thing, but it doesn't seem like the beatdown answer that you're looking for.
It's fine to search for ball 1 or 6.
Yeah.
This is a good picture.
It is a good picture.
I like this picture. I like the fish.
It's over.
More ball searcher density.
Yep.
If you're gonna win the
Yeah,
game
you can
that
use
turn.
it to win the game.
Like you could have a hand with 2 of these and the other the attack we just had, and just
Right.
switch out a bunch of Dragon Balls and then win.
go from half the balls basically to
all of
to
them.
the game is over.
It's a little better than that
Oh,
too. Is
dear.
you can use it again to search for ball 1 and 6, and at the end of combat put ball 7
Right,
or
yeah,
2 back
exactly.
in your
Yeah,
deck,
you
and
can
then you
use
play
it
it
to
again.
selectively cycle out balls that you want to reuse or
It's-
balls that you just don't want on the table.
And it's got endurance.
Was
Yeah.
the last card Namek Bowl?
No,
Or...
No,
this one is specifically Namek Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
only,
the
which
last
is
one was
interesting.
any type.
Yeah.
So Earth Ball's in next set probably.
So it seems.
I'll probably
you
delay it for 2
think.
more sets.
That's right. Next. Orange Intimidating
This
Drill.
card's cool.
I really like this card.
Woohoo.
I mean, it'll just be a nice adept target early in the game, and suddenly, with that and Joint Restraint throughout, all your attacks are +4.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. I like the I like it.
It's got a little bit of endurance, which is
Yeah.
nice. If you were cooler or something, you're pretty much always gonna be able to.
Sure.
Be
Yeah,
spend
no
that
kidding.
in drawing a card, which is cool.
Be cool.
Orange has other weird like spats of
Yeah,
regeneration.
it's gotten a
that
little
are-
bit more. So
The rejuvenation.
Yeah, that card's okay. It is completely agnostic stage damage buff, so that's neat.
it's the only card in the game where Vegeta looks like he's doing okay and Goku doesn't.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's going.
That's all right. I mean, we already saw Android 13 level 4.
the only personality in the game where he's wrecking someone else on the
Completely
personality
getting
Is
card.
there a
stomped.
personality who has someone else on his card?
Probably not.
Let's see,
There aren't that
guys.
many of them.
I guess some of the new,
There
like
was
the
the
Roshi.
Roshi,
That's
though.
right.
Oh
Roshi.
yeah.
Yeah, where she had somebody on it.
But I don't know about anybody
Speaking
else.
of cool images,
Yeah.
a lot
Kablam.
going on here.
Eh,
More rejuve, which is fine, I guess.
it's not a
Yeah,
bad
That's
card.
a lot. That's potentially a lot of rejuve.
Yeah.
It's a cheap attack too.
Yeah.
It costs 1.
I
has
didn't
2
realize
endurance, or
Vegeta
1
was
endurance.
laying there.
He is unconscious.
180.
It is.
That was after Cooler was about to put that energy ball into Vegeta's mouth.
right. Selective rejuve is still pretty uncommon, so being
Yeah.
able to pick rejuve any styled card
Get
is
your
kinda
orange
neat.
stare down back or whatever.
Attack card.
Mhm.
So you can't. Like,
Yeah, you can't search
Oh,
for
okay.
drill with that other power.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sad.
This
Too
card's
bad.
You can put an orange stare down back.
This card
Yeah.
super needed the endurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that it
I
has it.
agree. Yeah.
That would have been a breaking point for me.
That's a healthy card.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's A-okay.
Does a lot.
Woohoo.
It's funny how many cards. There's 1 endurance. All right, I can deal with it now.
Okay.
Okay, well, now we're in business.
Yeah.
One endurance.
No,
And another orange physical without
No
endurance.
endurance.
God damn it.
A great card otherwise.
Yeah, this card's super good.
Orange devastating.
So yeah,
I mean,
this
this
is
card's gonna go in your orange.
this is
physical decks
definitely
anyway.
among the better style
Yeah.
discard targeting cards.
Right.
I mean, if you just make orange
Well,
a
that's
drill
what I
that
mean.
said all your physical attacks with no endurance have endurance 2, you might have a deck.
Damn right.
This is the justification for not having any endurance.
Well, that
That's
card
right.
needs to exist
Who
first.
needs it?
The hit effect on this card kind of makes it.
Yeah.
The immediate effect's obviously super important, but otherwise it would just be like a worse dev blow.
Sure. Yeah, this card is actually pretty threatening because of that. So.
Right.
Although obviously not like it doesn't get around prevention in general. So the Roshis of the world and such are gonna still mess with you, but it's still good.
Yep, I like it.
Endurance though, man.
That
Never
guy's
gonna happen.
forearm is huge.
Yeah, he's real big.
He's super excited
Or
right
Goku's
there.
real small.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which.
Both.
Orange Immense Blast.
Cool image.
I like this
Cooler
card too.
hurtling towards the sun.
Yeah.
That's my recollection of that movie.
Uh-huh.
It is really neat.
That's the one thing that happens in the movie.
Yep.
I don't.
I would love this card if it wasn't a hit effect.
That's exactly what I was
Like,
going
I
to
would
say.
be fucking enamored with it if it was a secondary.
Right.
As a hit effect, it's
Eh.
okay.
It's okay.
It needs to like lower your opponent's anger 1 or something.
It does have that one endurance.
It does have the 1 endurance, but
Like if I would have rearranged this card, like I would have made this discard cycling secondary and then the
the other
hit
part.
sure.
put the drill
Sure.
into play.
Yeah.
Like that would have been awesome. As is, it's kind of like
Eh,
Yeah.
it's all about the guarantees.
yeah. It needed something like that.
Damn.
But it's still okay. Like I don't hate it.
It's
but
not a very immense blast for 4 life cards.
Yeah.
Maybe if it did 6.
Maybe if the hit effect puts an aura drill into play, then your next one will
That's
be
right.
for 6.
Okay.
teeing up the rest of your turn for big damage.
Uh-huh. Sword
Or
card.
an orange sword card. I think the
No
only
endurance.
orange sword attack.
Yeah, you're right.
'Cause there's like an
It didn't
event
get one
or
before, or a
something?
setup or
Or
something.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
like orange sword break or something.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
The hit effect on this card is super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
No
another-
endurance!
And this
Come
attack,
on.
like the last card, this attack has no immediate effect.
Yeah. The hit effect is really good, though.
The hit
So
effect's very good.
It makes it worth it on that.
And this card's a no-brainer if you're building
Right.
like orange add up trunks or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many named events are there?
I mean, there's overwhelming power, and then other
Good
cards.
point.
That's a real good one.
Yes.
Well, okay
I'm
then.
sure there are other cards as well.
That one's also a style.
Right.
event.
Right, it's
Either
actually
way.
both.
So it's
Yeah,
You search for it
Cell
for two
style,
reasons.
Full styles, you know.
Isn't
Goku's Kaioken.
Kaioken,
or-
Ginny's body
or
switch.
Body switch, exactly.
Piccolo's weighted clothing.
Great.
Yeah. There's a decent chunk of them, though. Vegeta's Anger.
Okay.
Vegeta's anger.
You can search
Hey,
for
it
orange.
draws a card.
That
Search
other
for
trunk
orange
sword card, the
destruction.
one that levels you up.
Sword Stance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Endurance though.
And some
God
okay
damn
style
it.
events.
Come
This
on.
card looks cool as shit.
Yeah.
I say, there wasn't this just
A
a
lot of work
freestyle
on
sword drill in the old game?
There's Trunks swordplay drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I don't remember what it does, but it had the same
Did
picture.
something.
And it was also on its side like that, which was really
Right,
rare
yeah.
for old cards.
So
Right.
we did it.
Full circle.
It gives you like a weird constant that's sort of like your attack's doing +1, even better,
Yeah, it's a little better.
Yeah.
and then also does another thing when it comes to
The
play.
parenthetical makes it worth it.
Yeah, being able to. Red certainly has a lot of ways to put drills into play during
Right.
combat, so.
And if you're leveling, although not if you're the new level 1, but you could get rid of it and then bring it back.
Red's got that nice sword attack from the last set too. It's just like +4, raise your anger 1, and then head to does a bunch of endurance.
Yeah. That
In the
guy's-
hypothetical situation where you and your opponent were running them, if you were the second player to play this, you do not get the tutor.
Damn!
I hope that happens once ever.
to cost someone a tournament. That's
Wow.
The game you lost the game that you blew your top cut on was someone else sword slicing
one
drilled
would even
first,
notice
and
that.
then
That's important to know if you're playing it and your opponent might also be playing it. It's like, I gotta get the sword slicing drill out now.
Sword,
Man.
red sword slicing drill.
I can't wait for that to happen to someone
So
someday.
I want to hear about it.
Red Fantasy.
Endurance. And lots of words.
So many words.
Oolong likes babes.
Accurate.
Or symmetrical banishing.
That's a lot of words. A lot of ifs.
It ultimately doesn't add up to much.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that card will see play often.
I
It
don't
does a
think it
lot.
will see play ever.
Mm,
It's not the type of card that a normal most
No.
players would
I mean,
use.
if I'm looking at this, I'll just look at like red jump kick and like that's probably better.
Right.
It is an
Yeah.
attack.
It doesn't have 8 requirements on it.
Mm-hmm. What a card.
What a
Good
card.
motivational
Cards, yeah.
Somebody's going Draymond Green up in here.
Ah.
Steven Adams, LeBron James, Dons.
So this is one of those.
Yeah, I would say
cards
it's
that-
one of the cards that does something if you manually banish it from your discard pile.
Right.
Yep.
And then it also, from hand, destroys an ally and possibly also a setup.
Are there any
It's
red
basically a
cards that
huge deck
can
card.
destroy certain cards from your deck? Like specific cards? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'm pretty,
Yeah.
other than that one, that energy attack or whatever.
That
The one like you're looking at the
GT
top
card.
3. The GT card. Red
Relevant.
Mentor Mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Red Mentor
Yeah, I
3 of
don't think
those in the
so.
start of your discard pile.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. This card's okay.
The damage on it isn't crazy. But
I mean, yeah, it's
It's
the
interesting.
it only exists for its secondary effects.
If you banish it with mastery, it doesn't put itself in your hand.
right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta.
Not
It,
during
it's
not
it'd be
during
real tough
combat.
to get that effect, and the effect on its
You'd
own
have to build
not
for it
great.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even be modified.
Yeah, that's a,
The hit effect's alright.
It does a bunch of tiny things.
Right.
Banished.
It's a real weird card.
I really
Yeah.
wish it got Ruthless Mastery buff.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks so much.
Man. It's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't think it. Yeah,
Should be a
and
rare.
yeah, red isn't aching for interesting physicals to play.
True.
So
Right. Yeah.
In that sense, I think it'll see very little play.
Yeah,
But
like you're gonna run Forceful Strikes over this card
Yeah.
100,000% of the time in
Sure.
Ruthless
or knee lifts for the
for the allies.
for the ally part. Just better in every way,
Mhm.
every
Make it
conceivable
gone.
sense. But
Card's
red
got a
stylish
good
entrance. Nothing wrong with Ginyu like poses.
image. This one is only when entering combat for the parent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing you would do with this is use it when you're in combat and then
Right.
banish it.
But
Yep.
it's banished.
Well, it's banished after use.
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Sorry.
So you have
Ah!
to, yeah.
Yeah. It again
Never mind.
does kind of a lot of things, but doesn't really do enough to make.
I
it
mean,
from a
Yeah.
card from
Assuming
your
you
hand.
just have some junk red card on top of your discard pile and you sequence properly, that technically still works. Like you just mastery 1st and then stack a thing on top, and then you have the chance to use that thing. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah, it's a little tough
If you're
to
using
use.
it with like red restriction or something, you
Mhm.
can use it to basically draw a card when entering combat. But
Yeah. Okay, but not great.
yeah,
Saiyan overpowering aura drill.
Saiyan loves all these attach effects.
Yep.
It's got big endurance bomb
Mhm.
too.
Boom.
I like the constant power.
And the
Yeah.
constant power's not
It's
bad.
not nothing.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
All
It's
my
not.
attacks
It's
lower
not
mine- it
flashy or
gives you, like,
sexy, but
pseudo ruthless mastery, even
Right.
better.
Mm-hmm.
Endurance.
And if you're in extreme training, you can just keep that effect train going forever.
The effect
And it's
train.
got the 3 endurance.
Yeah. Meaty ass endurance.
Yep.
And Vegeta's like, he looks
Cold.
like he's frozen in ice, but he's actually just standing there powering up, I guess.
I think he is frozen actually. He's breaking out.
Melting the ice.
with his power.
That's right.
My big power.
Oh no.
Saiyan denial.
Saiyan
Broly's
big
like,
energy
nah,
attack.
son.
Rampaging only.
Yeah, sort of. And in fact, I mean, who knows what the next Saiyan mastery
Right.
does?
It could be useful sometime in the future.
The mastery looks a lot better when it does straight life as opposed
sure
to 3
does.
stages.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's a big attack.
Yeah, 7 life for 2.
This is another attached card.
Yeah, exactly, and it's another
Increase
attached card,
Mhm.
so you want to
With-
build
with-
that pile.
with no discard or banish. Effect.
Right, it's
Yeah,
just
it's-
attached
it's
until
there forever.
yeah, exactly, until something that removes attached cards
Until
gets
a
rid
red
of it.
antidote gets played.
Oh bye.
That's really funny. I hadn't actually noticed that at first. Amusing.
And
like
immediate.
Same image is probably the worst card from the Broly sunset.
Oh right, yeah, just like
was
energy,
just
that
energy
lowered,
2 for
lowered
6, I
anger or
think.
something. It was real bad. Or yeah, it might have just been.
I think it's just 2 for
2 for
6.
6. Oh. Extinguishing blast.
This card's cool.
Vegeta's hella dead right there.
Yeah.
He's dead in like every card.
Every third card, Vegeta has eaten it.
That's another cool banish.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I like
banishing 3 blocks is neat.
it. And it has another immediate effect, and I think that's super important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's great. I like
And
that
then
a
the hit
lot.
effect sometimes is really good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll shut down
Especially,
Namekian real good.
You put this in your Broly deck with digs and clashes.
Yeah.
and
Right.
You can leverage that hit effect most of the time.
Another example of a
One
card
level.
that technically can draw cards, so it's banish after use.
Yep.
It's okay. I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, I like you said. I like the 2 secondaries together. Like
Mhm.
that's a-okay. Sand lob.
I don't remember.
I really want this to play a
Yeah.
setup for my deck.
Mm. Turn an energy
Interesting.
style.
I don't love it.
It'll make your card power attack styled if you have an energy attack, which
I wouldn't
Saiyans
u-
have an energy
I
attack.
wouldn't use this above either of the other
Goku's.
Saiyan energies we've seen that do 6 or more life cards and
Yeah.
do other
I
shit.
think I
So
agree. Yeah.
on that in
Get
that
it
sense, it might be unplayable. But
If the hit effect were a secondary, it'd be
Right,
a little more.
Yeah.
If those flipped,
Yeah.
it'd be a lot better.
yeah, as
And
it
it
is,
costs 3, has no endurance.
not
Right,
so
doesn't
much.
have any other immediate effects.
Next,
This card owns
This card's
so
got a lot
hard.
going for
I
it.
say it synergizes with a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Shit.
Yep. It's a pretty meaty attack.
and it does 6
even though it
stages.
can't be
Yeah.
I
modified.
love physical
6
attacks
is a
that
nice
do-
number for stages.
Physical attacks that do 6 stages are on point as far as I'm concerned.
Ultras that do 5 go in the garbage.
5 is a very large number for a junior.
This card has a ton of neat interactions. It's
Uh-huh.
going to be real cool.
Yeah.
And
it definitely does not need endurance.
this
I'll
one's
take this-
fine.
Yeah, I'll
Right.
take this one as is.
Yep.
Man.
See, even if you're not comboing that with a dig or something, you're just putting your
Rejuvenate
opponent.
5.
You're putting
right.
your opponent in a position where they pretty much can't
Yeah.
level up during
Yeah.
combat.
Do it, I dare you.
Basically.
I like the,
Go ahead, level up.
I like the
both
amount of
them.
attacks we're getting that can't be modified too.
Yeah.
The Saiyan especially, they get a lot out of that.
Sure. That's real cool. Saiyan Trample.
This card's cool too, especially in
Dig
Broly.
combo.
Yep. So the immediate effect's pretty good. The damage on it's really good, especially
Yeah,
late
AT,
game.
AT plus AT.
And then
is
the hit
pretty
effect's
awesome.
always useful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, especially in empowered, but
Right, yeah, and either way, like, rejuvenate a card,
Sure,
never
why not?
bad, that's fine.
This card's going to vary in damage more than any other.
it's,
So it's going to do somewhere
0
between
or
0 and
10.
10, right?
maybe occasionally 12.
For good measure.
Yep.
Card's cool. Saiyan Trap.
Saying hug it out.
Saying handhold.
It's just a weird mill effect.
15, I love
It's really
you.
weird. Yeah.
I want to be with you.
It works on all of your opponent's personalities, so it's like a menace type thing,
Mhm.
and it does shuffle itself
Menace,
into
the,
your
Yeah.
right, Menace
and
that puts
raises
itself
your
back.
anger.
That's an anger.
So it does a lot of little things.
That card will win mirrors.
Mhm.
It's okay.
It'll be like a surprise disc in a lot
Yeah.
of situations.
Boom,
Right,
5
kinda.
cards.
It's like, bam, take that.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that card's alright.
15's got a weird hat.
Yes.
This card's so bad.
Yeah.
Saiyan Drill's not ideal.
I want to know what the
Yeah,
like,
what
there
was this
time
supposed
put
to
into
be,
this. I don't know
right?
what it's supposed to do though.
I want to see the first 3 iterations of this card.
Also works with the if they try to play their singing drill.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing as that red
Right.
card. Like, they get to cycle
So
and you don't.
if your Trunks level 1,
That's what I was just
you can
thinking.
just enter and draw a card and have your attacks do more.
Except it's considered styled.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, that's right. This card doesn't work with anything.
It works
doesn't
with
work,
Adept.
It doesn't work with Tree of Might.
It works with Adept as long as you control no other drills.
Next.
This card's super good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like the
If nothing else, just for like the
It's
mini weighted clothing.
half the weighted
basically.
clothing, and
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Top 5 art in the game.
Yeah, I pulled a foil of this.
Nice.
Full disclosure.
There's a lot of heads coming off in this set.
True that.
But yeah, again, like, yeah, that
Yeah, it really
That
is.
parenthetical rules. It's
Yep.
a
It's a
mid-sized physical attack that gives an anger, and the hit effect is real good.
And there's all those Android 13
and
cards
it's
that
an
just
Android named card.
dig
Yeah.
dig through your deck and discard Android cards.
The interesting thing, this card's pretty good in decks that aren't even Android decks.
Yeah.
Like physical +3 raise your anger roll
Right,
with the good
yeah.
effects.
Especially
And then-
for villains, since Heroes had Heroic Jab, but I mean, this is even a little better.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it gives
Different, at
anger.
least.
Yeah.
Although I guess it
Put-
loses the block, like the potential block, but so maybe that's a coin flip. But it's real good.
This card's a no-brainer in any Android deck, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the anger.
A
Like,
no-brainer when he's lost his head.
Ah! He's got no brain.
next.
Pro got it.
No, that card's good. We already talked about
We've
Sobering
talked about
Hammer,
it.
but
It's
I
Really
like it
good
a
though.
lot.
I want to keep talking about it.
I don't. A+.
So good.
Yeah, A+, moving on. Stomach Crusher's real good.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is.
think we talked about Stomach Crusher.
It was-
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it hadn't been revealed.
This card's
when we were talking about
pretty
other stuff.
important.
Uh huh.
Meaty, got a bunch of endurance, locks people in combat. It's
Mm-hmm.
only cards that end combat cannot be played or used. So
Yeah.
it doesn't work on Yamcha's Rescue.
You
or-
couldn't play Yamcha's Rescue.
Right, you can't
You
play
can't
Yamcha's
play it as a
Rescue,
block because
Right.
this game is stupid.
but you can
but
use
you
the
could
endurance
use-
to
yeah.
end combat.
Exactly.
Right, you could use it to end combat. Oh, God.
And it's
What?
this. It's
It's
takes
don't
a while.
even-
Don't worry
yeah.
about
We'll explain it later.
Okay.
And then turning off setups, especially against
Mhm.
control decks, is pretty powerful.
Yep.
So
And I like it as another just like it's a meaty physical with
endurance.
colorless physical with endurance.
This-
slot
this-
that in there.
That also does something really cool.
This is gonna have a use rate of like 80% at the New York Regional.
Right,
Something
yeah.
like that.
Every
Yeah.
Broly deck.
It's real good. I like it a lot.
Ultra
Oh,
rare.
we made it. We're finally here.
Goku
I
about to get
feel
punched
like-
in the face.
I like this card, I think, more than most of the community does, but its
Yeah.
purposes are so strange.
I kind of hate this card, and I would actually love it if it didn't have a hit effect at all. Like if
Really?
if that was just a secondary.
Oh, if it were
like,
secondary,
yeah.
sure.
Like I feel like it's just not enough. And I might be wrong about that, and I'd actually love to be proven wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see like what does this end up in.
Yeah, because I mean,
I mean,
you just run Ruthless with almost all styled cards and
Right.
just fuck shit up.
You could go
That's
back-
like the deck, I guess.
back to the old game. Cookie was like the card that was a lot like this, and some people used it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I never did. I hated it.
Yeah,
This card does a lot of things that Cookie doesn't for this
True.
card, too, though. Like, it's a pretty big attack.
Yeah,
and the
my
hit
my
effect is
gut
super
reaction
powerful.
to it is to kind of hate it, but I do genuinely hope I'm wrong about
I don't-
that. Like
I don't
wanna
like
see-
up front the people like, oh, I'll just run a deck without stare downs and time. It's
Well,
like,
that's
oh,
stupid.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I think if you're using an aggro deck and you and your opponent search and banish each other's time, you're the aggro deck.
right.
You
You
win
get
that trade.
you get
every
that
time.
trade.
Like,
Yeah, and I do kind of like, as opposed to the idea of building a deck around it and trying to go that route. It is a kind of a really neat like late game one of like I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
go visit for this and look at your entire deck and get rid of two really important things maybe.
yeah.
Right.
Like so in
I
that
agree.
using it in that way I think is kind of cool.
Especially-
endurance late game.
Yeah.
Sure,
sure.
yeah.
And,
So-
and there are a lot of personalities, I think, that could take advantage of that better than other personalities. So,
Mhm.
I do feel
like
like it,
Cell late game could get a lot of use out of that because he's probably not packing named cards that matter late game.
Right.
it does feel like it needs a hook somewhere. So like one other thing it does that you can rely
And
on.
since if you're playing this and you have cards that are considered styled for your card effects, when they look through your deck, they can't get rid of those because they are
This is
styled.
They're
This
styled,
is
yeah.
well, this is
They
your
can't
card effect.
get rid of
Because
your
it's
overwhelming
your
powers.
Right.
card.
But you can get rid of theirs.
Yes.
Yes. That is correct.
Because this game is stupid.
This game
Yes.
is great. So yeah, that is correct.
I mean, it's definitely
Which is good
interesting.
because overwhelming power is the type of card that you
would
probably
get rid of.
Yeah.
Sure.
and you wouldn't want them to get rid of. If they were
It'll
a
make
control
that
deck.
late game
Mine.
Black Scout maneuver real easy.
Yeah, I think a black deck could run this with like
Yeah.
searching techniques and scout maneuvers.
If you're just going the full
Critical
aggressive,
mass.
I'm literally
Destruction
getting rid
deck.
of everything.
And if you're running
Say goodbye to it all.
Devious, that puts it up to crit range for
Yep.
just the raw damage, which is really neat.
or if you're running cooler, you don't really care if your stuff gets banished because you're just gonna get it back.
a little.
A
You
little.
don't want to get your
No,
nose
you don't.
banished.
You can't aggressively banish your own things.
Yeah. Yeah, I would use it in something more like a garlic or.
Yeah. It's still better than like just some boring, just
Yeah.
like I don't know, like a big ass attack or something. So
It
I
has
like it.
utility
I
somewhere.
kind of wish that.
I like it in theory.
I
but
wish that good
in
advice were a
practice-
card in the game. I'll be honest. I think that was awesome.
Okay.
I think that would be cool.
Ultra.
Yeah. I hope
Sure.
this card
I hope
does some
somebody
really
uses
neat
it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be building at least a couple decks with this card in it, but we'll see how they do.
The other
And
one,
This
finally,
one's got so many
Unleashed has some
applications.
potential.
speaking
It
of
does some
chest,
stuff.
It's bad, and you should sell me
Speaking
all
of
your
chess.
copies. of it.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Basically worth
It's
it.
not an attack. It doesn't have endurance. It turns
Can
off
be
an entire
sphered.
victory condition. Can be sphered.
Worst image of every ultra
It's not.
in this set.
It's pretty ugly.
Yeah, I actually don't love the card art, the card image, like
The last one
Goku
was
breaking
bad.
out of tentacles or whatever.
Coolers.
Never, I take it back. I do like the card.
Oh.
I don't want to talk about it very long, but this card's obviously really fucking good.
Yeah, I think
I mean, yeah, the power to set not even your own, but potentially both players' MP to a level of your choosing is
Yeah.
pretty intense.
And it's like every character now has a card that just levels them up if you want.
Sure.
And then also get an attached card, and if you're red, you can grab Trailing Blast and do
Yeah.
funny things, and then you can lower your opponent a level.
Yeah.
If your opponent's Saiyan empowered, you could just level them.
yeah, you can
down
just run them
wherever you
over
want.
all
Sure.
game long.
It's really neat.
Dead.
The most important thing about it is that it's completely asymmetrical. Like you can level yourself up and do nothing to them. You can change their level and do nothing to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
You
good.
could lower yourself.
Right.
I think not mirrors, but like decks matches where both people are running it are going to be really weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
agree.
They're going to be really weird.
Uh-huh. That's gonna be one of those things.
Use this after you use a Saiyan thrust to gain tons of anger and then redo tons of things.
Yeah.
This is when you're running a black deck and you start comboing things off of them onto you.
With
That's
that,
weird.
the final card in the set. Oh no, it's not on here.
No.
Well,
Oh well.
instant transmission's good.
Yeah.
If you don't think it's good, you're wrong. That's all.
I didn't find the card image apparently, but
No.
That's fine.
it's great. Take my word for it.
Yep.
And that's gonna do it. So
Yeah.
we did it, guys. We looked at every
Woo!
set.
Every
Pretty
card on the
much.
set.
That's
Oh,
right.
most of the cards.
Mhm.
142 out of 143 is not bad.
Since the image wasn't here, props to Timbato for making instant
Yay.
transmission.
Yep. I like it a
Slops to
lot.
Panini for ruining it a little.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, what are you gonna do?
2 for 2.
That's right. Yeah, they took the teeth out of each
Right.
user-created card
If-
just a little
If
bit.
I win Gen Con again, my submission's going to be very different than it was last time. Probably a lot more vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah,
Oh well.
it's a good set.
Yep.
The
I
MPs,
like it.
the MPs seem awesome. Like, there's a lot of key cards that seem like they're gonna be really neat.
I'm
And-
really looking forward to seeing how it changes
Yeah,
things.
I can't
Black-
wait to see
I
what
can't wait
comes
for
out.
this current meta to end.
Black Krillin and Namekian Piccolo are probably the best decks, but
I'm going to start with those.
Namekian Knowledge Piccolo, please.
Yes.
well, there's no other master.
There's no other match.
I've got a really good red Roshi deck I'm keeping
right.
under wraps right now.
But
But
what is besting in you?
The real question.
Oh,
We asked
that's
that.
gonna do it.
Okay.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yay.
We'll be back with more DBZ stuff at some point.
they announced the name of set 7. I don't remember. Did anyone catch the name?
I don't remember.
Awakening?
Yeah, no,
Awakening,
they did.
yes.
And Hercule's in it. That's
Yes.
what we know
Yeah.
about set 7.
All right.
Surprise, surprise.
We'll be back probably when more set 7 info is out.
Or whatever.
Or other events or whatever. We'll be back in the future with more Dragon Ball related stuff.
Content.
Thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you on the other side.
Send us an email,
Bye.
please.